Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Earnings Season. I'm Randy at RT Euro on Twitter,
And I'm Danai at H Danai on Twitter.
and this is Earnings Season. Now, this week we're doing a little twist on what we have been doing for the past few weeks. We are continuing to review the market, but this is a true earnings season. Now, earnings season, the podcast is named after earnings season from investing, which is a time period in Jamaica. It's what it got done, 45 days.
45 days after the end of the quarter.
Yes. So 45 days after the end of a quarter when companies report their
Earnings.
um their earnings, yes. So this is earnings season.
Because a bag of companies are reporting at one time, so it's a season for it.
Crap load of companies. So because I know it's a lot of companies and a lot to cover, I brought in help. So we have on the line not just H than I, but we also have the top striker herself, Shanice.
Drum roll.
Right? Drum
Hi
roll.
everyone, I'm here.
You can't say no, you hear the dogs. You have to go drum roll. Hold on.
Wow.
Wow, that's not the drums I was
Okay.
expecting.
Alright. I'll take it. It's cool.
All right, so we have the top striker, Shanice. And right behind that, we have somebody who's new to the podcast. So a new guest, but a long time listener, first time caller, Shay.
Yep.
Shay, introduce yourself for the people.
Hi, I'm what's my Twitter name? Shay Mill? Yeah, I think that's it. So yes, I'm at Shay Mill. My name is Shay Miller. I'm a psychology student, a grad student at UMona. I started investing December 2018. Started with Fontana, and yeah, it's been interesting.
Interesting. Wow. You still hold that Fontana
A small portion.
from IPO?
Yeah.
What do you
Nice.
mean? Eat a food, yes?
You've got nice food.
New striker. And then we wrap things up with the one and only the second the I don't even know what to describe him. I wanted to call him a troublemaker, but I don't know. a man who has been on top of the market. Put on me to shame because I don't follow it as hard as he does, which is inspirational to me because he has a harder job than I do. The one and only Dr. Phil. I just realized that we can actually call you Dr.
Oh,
Phil.
Dr. Phil. Oh, yes.
Dr.
Right?
Phil.
Actually can.
I actually can. I don't know if you've ever said on the podcast. Phil has been on the podcast before. Big up, Phil. Phil, I know interrupting your introduction, so I can make it get to it. But I don't know if you've said this before, so this is me giving space just in case I have to edit it out. Have I ever said that, or have you ever said on the podcast that you're a doctor, Phil? And do you have an issue with anybody knowing that?
No, and I have no problem with that. And I did say it on the podcast, the Friends of the Podcast edition.
There we go.
Yeah,
We
so
go. There we go. So there we go. So we have the one and only Dr. Philberg Invests.
yeah, man, that's me. I have I'm a general surgeon. I work in Turks and Caicos, but from Jamaica. And yeah, I've been investing for a while, but my I've been investing probably from 2002
Before me
uh,
born.
on the
Wow.
Jamaican stock market. Yeah, way before than I born indeed. And but most recently, I've been more active over the last since 2018.
That's good. And
Yeah,
how the gains stay?
it's been an
Money,
interesting
money,
ride.
Say that again, Danai.
money. Money, money.
Oh, boy, it's been an up and down ride. Last year was very good. Last year, average. I mean, the overall portfolio was 45%.
Mm-hmm.
This year has been rough. I suspect for most, certainly not all. So for me, to be honest, I can't tell you exactly where I am. Uh, but I know that I am down probably somewhere between 10 and 15% year to date.
Damn. Why can't you tell exactly how much you're down, by the way?
Because of realized gains,
Aha. Yes. The
realized
big
gains
thing.
and losses.
Hmm.
Um, accounting for them is not as easy as tracking your portfolio when you haven't sold anything.
Mhm.
All right, let me tell you what you do.
Uh,
You check all the money you
mhm.
have, then you add
Right.
all the value of all the stocks you have, and then you just divide that by the your portfolio at the start of the year. Good,
Yeah,
and you get that percentage.
You have to
Mhm.
yeah.
account for the money that you've put in.
Yes,
Well,
definitely.
well, yes, you do have to account for
So,
that. And you know what? Sorry, go ahead, then I
so you
continue.
just add that any money you put in since year, you add that to the figure at the start of the year, and you're
Mm.
good.
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah, Phil. Phil, just message me, just link me after this, and I'll see what else I can help you with along those lines. Now, I have to take some heat for that because I made my dashboard to help track those things, and I, the dashboard is so funny. It's that it was a reflection of my thinking at the time, and it still is. So there are things in there like I deliberately don't include fees because I want fees to be included in my share price, right?
Yeah,
Um,
Mhm.
but
me
then, I
too.
mean, I shared it. I shared my personalized tool with everybody, and a lot of people learned it from the brokers. And the brokers have not, over the years, been a fan of you necessarily seeing what your fees are,
Mm.
meaning including it in the price, right? So they want to say if you bought jam tea for no 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 $3, they will tell you that you got it for $3, and then they don't include what the fees are. They include the fees, but when you speak to a rep, they will tell you, "Oh, you got it for three
You
dollars."
got it for three,
I've
right?
always believed that add the fees onto what the total money spent was, divide it by the amount of shares that you got, and you're going to get a number bigger than $3, and that's your real price, right? Because I work with what's real. And so as a result, I never put it in. Same way, I never put realized gains in because it was always for me to be able to keep track of what's in front of me now. And I have been back and forth about whether or not I should share. But the same dashboard will work it out, Phil. As long as you put in all of the money, all of your buys and all your sales,
Okay.
there's a way for the dashboard to spit it out. So maybe I'll share another version with you or something else. But you should look at it, but you should keep a nice little idea. And I'm not making you I'm not trying to stress you because I believe I don't I don't know if I'm down also from the start of the year. And I think no, yes. So spoiler alert, Dan and I were supposed to that Q1 race. We
Oh
don't we
yeah.
haven't yeah, we haven't done the exact numbers yet, but I know that we both lost.
Who's that
Both
trace?
lost.
Yeah, we both it's a matter of which one of us lose worse. I know that I know it because the day when I realized I was like, yo, I'm sure that we actually lost. I went out and I restarted me doing a lot more of the short term trades, which I hadn't done for a long, long time. And that was also influenced by the top striker herself, who every day, like, she get up and make money. How things going for the market
Aren't
for
we
you,
all?
Shanice? Right?
Not
How
going too
things
bad,
going?
you know. It's
Not going
going
too
it's going
bad.
pretty well. My portfolio is up, thankfully.
Bam, bam, bam. Since the start of the year?
This is why I
Since the
claim her as
start
a
of the
friend.
year, yeah.
This
I
is why I
was
claim
up
her. I don't claim my other friends like this.
come again?
General, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
I
I
was
never heard that, so I'm gonna make sure you hear it. Then I said that's why I'm have to claim you as a friend, because don't claim other friends like this.
so well, I'm gonna listen to the night talker.
We try to every week. Anyway, how the portfolio station?
Yeah, it was going pretty well, and then the market took another little dip, and I lost a little money. So when I checked it last week, I was up 51%.
All right, Shanice, I have a question on this one. So you buy the whole
Wow.
market?
Yeah, you're right. She come on our show, come talk about the market dipped.
My bad. Couple
We're
stocks
out in the
dipped.
fields
Couple stocks I
working
was in
hard.
dipped.
Yeah, that's
So
so better.
yeah, so lost a little, brought me down to 51%. So I'm
What
up
you say?
51% right now. Not
Yeah.
really right. No, I checked it last week, but I did some stuff already this week. Actually made a little more gains this week. So I
Okay.
need to add that in.
Damn. Up 51% when the market down. How much
Sweet.
market down? How much market down this year? Let me go check
It's
it.
up more than the market is down.
Yeah, well, the market is down, but she's up over 51%.
That's what I'm
Yes,
saying. So the market is down by what 30 something. She's up by over 30 something.
damn.
Astounding.
All right. Wow. So, Shanice, how are you doing this?
I mean, I spoke about it the last time. It's the same thing.
That's right, people.
I'm
If you
getting.
don't know it, go and listen to Shanice's episode. Shanice, you know your episode number?
No, no, what's that? 30 something. I know it's
Don't
30
worry, I don't
something.
know mine either.
33? Don't I? Probably 36.
It's 33, actually. Episode
Ah, there you
33,
go.
Top
Got it the first
Strikers
time.
Gonna Strike. It have a whole heap of yapping, a chapter lot of that, but it have all the gems from Shen, and I am more than like inspired every time I listen to it. Actually, I don't think that episode has gotten the hype it needs to get, but that's on me. We
That's
soon give it the
okay.
hype. It is here somebody some is that bad man?
It is totally bad mind. I'm just saying, you know what, if you don't want to get the gems, then go right ahead and not get that. But the people who want the gems and who
That's
are
true.
consistently there for the gems, we get it.
They'll
I
listen. I
agree.
love that.
A lot
Yeah,
of people
I
link me
also
on
agree.
about that episode though.
Yeah, they should. They should.
Yeah,
I
man.
like.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
man.
Yeah,
getting a
they,
Stay
lot of
inspired.
messages.
yeah. But you find what most of the people saying: the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Good, the bad, the ugly. Um, Most people want to know what exactly I do, how I do it, what I do on each days. Um,
Mhm.
they want to actually say how exactly I trade. If they can like
Oh
sit
yeah, I
with me and
say.
see how I trade.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
say.
it's some interesting requests though.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. I know the requests that I get, and that's why I stopped talking about short-term gains very, very publicly. But
Yeah.
I am also not a young lady, so I can imagine how much more interesting the requests must be for you. Yo, she have sense and she have make money.
It's my life, please, baby.
Shanice Van Zant. Oh boy. Shay, I will tag you as bad man because I'm joking, but I will ask how things have been going for your portfolio then.
Uh, I'm definitely down, but I think I'm in a better place now because my thing was, oh, it's a good company, it will be fine. But then
Hmm.
I did a grower, and then it was just, well, this is a good company, but is it going to do what I want it to do? And so right now or lately it's just been a lot of hmm look at this company, no, it's not going to make me the money I want, okay, bye. A lot of that has been happening, and just strengthening positions in others. So restructuring. I'm down. I'm not as down as far down as earlier, like when this just started. So I'm doing better, much better than March. And it's nice, it's nice. So yeah, I'm down, but
Hot numbers,
I'm
man.
feeling much better than I was, like, say 2 months ago, a month ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even though you're down, when you said down, give me an idea of the percentage.
Maybe, let's see, maybe 20%.
Maybe 20%. You're not tracking? I can
I need to add some stuff. So school has me away, I must say, trying to finish. But based on the numbers, I'm just saying, based on the numbers, it's about 20
it's
right now.
wow. Are you you're not going crazy? I don't know if I can talk your business. Well, I'll allow you to talk your business
No,
because you said something
I'm not.
major earlier.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not worried because I'm in a better place now to do what I need to do, and it's not. I don't feel like married to the companies anymore. So it's just, are you going to give me what I want? No. Okay, bye. And
Word,
it's,
there we
it's
go.
just it's just like that. So right now I'm making some changes and getting myself together for like some top striker moving.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all.
Hmm. I like that. I like how you sound confident, even
I
though,
think
especially you knew. So
because one of the reasons also is because I like the numbers that I'm seeing coming out are companies that I looked at last year this time and we're like, I like this one, I like this one. And companies that are jumped into their so what I would do before I knew anything about reading statements and all of that fanciness, I would just read Google. I would just put in the company name and read everything that comes up. And if I liked it, then I got it. So now that I know more and I'm seeing these companies that I liked a year ago when I knew almost nothing coming out and coming out strong, I'm like, oh, I might be onto something. If I
right.
actually put in the work, I should be fine.
Uh-huh.
Makes sense.
So that's why I'm
Yes,
not worried.
I like that. And even in that time, you've seen how the market can help people. This was me alluding to
That's
the
right.
point that if you don't, you can mention it yourself. If you don't want to mention it, then we don't mention it.
hmm But
Well,
I don't know. I just, before, it was a matter of, oh, if you work hard. Even today I was thinking it. I cannot believe people had me believing that for all my life. Like, oh, sweater your bro, just work hard. And right now I'm just like, really? I could have been doing this the whole time. I mean, why didn't anyone tell me?
all right.
That
Well,
that kind of vibe just, yeah, so it's just a different place mentally. It's a different place mentally for someone who like didn't come from money. I don't have a name or anything. It's just one tweet that I saw and it started.
what you say?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bossy. I don't come from nothing greater than my parents either. But I am happy to see the change that people are feeling and seeing. And you started when? Say it again so that people listening can know.
So yeah, before I said Fontana, right? But that's actually incorrect. The first tweet that I saw was regarding MPC, and I was like, renewables. That sounds nice. So I started with that, and then Fontana, and I just started to dive into companies because I really didn't know that all of this was happening this whole time. So it was what, December 2018. So a year and something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I hear, and so people, that's part of the reason why I had her on here. So when we had done the Shanice episode, I had wanted Shanice to talk more about the fact that she just started. But the truth is, as Shanice, I'm sure, realizing now, the second you sound like you're good at investing, people just immediately decide to say you're an expert, no matter what you tell them, say.
Yo, it's true. Is there
So,
everybody that comes and like, yo, I'm a novice. I'm new to this. I still think I'm new to this.
right? And them just ignore you, right?
They do all the time.
Right? You remember when I used to say it in the group?
Yeah, and we did
Yeah,
not believe.
literally. Yeah, no, you see, like I'm saying, yo, I don't know it, and that's the best. That's the best worst part, where you realize that, yo, no one actually knows. The
Yeah.
idea is that you don't know. You are making as educated as you can of a guess.
That's true.
Gasp, and you're guessing? Guessing?
Yeah. What's the next word? What the next word? Then I the speculation.
Oh my
Speculation.
god, you're a speculator.
You're speculating.
That's
Short-term gains.
word.
Anyway, anyway,
Like,
enough of the
if
foolishness,
you're not speculating, then link me. I'll give you my money to
R-
invest.
right? No, but no, if you're not speculating, then you're insider trading. So I'm good.
No, but
Yo,
if you're doing that legally, then guess what?
Ah, okay. I guess so. You only buy during the blackouts. But anyway, so we have everybody history. Other than Phil, I don't know. I don't know if well, Phil, tell your history. Although people can hear some of Phil's history in the last episode he was on, which was Phil. You know your episode number, right? No,
Number 20.
definitely. There we go. Phil, pay attention.
Well, that was
The
easy.
gift of fans, right? The gift of fans from December
Gift of
27.
funds. Boy, time flies.
Yo, right? Phil, so tell how have things been for you? You say other than being down, you know, really, you feel more comfortable in the market now?
Definitely feel a lot more comfortable. I mean, I wanted to to carry on a point that well, regarding Shanice's episode, uh
Mm-hmm.
Shanice's episode is one of the, like, when I've been listening to the podcast from the first episode, and
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Sir.
Same.
yeah, man, and I've listened to several of the episodes more than once, and I would say that, but for a long time, I would probably say, most of the episodes, like in the teens and so forth, 20s, I would listen two times, maybe three times. I've listened to Shanice's portion of Shanice's episode several times
Wow, Phil, thanks.
because they it is a different it shows a different mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is not it's not very easy to explain, and I think that the way she went through it made a lot of things clearer and allowed me to feel a lot more confident in a lot of the in doing some of these short term plays. Um,
So why were you confident before? Were you not doing them because of lack of
n-
confidence?
Not really.
Or were you
Yeah,
doing
I
them
was.
You
and
remember
had more
people
confidence doing it?
specifically tell you not to do this, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. A lot of people are going off the notion that this is wrong, like you can't do this. It's not
Yeah.
gonna work, it can't last.
But I've been doing it. I just wasn't telling people that I'm not going to be the one to tell people to do it. Do your money,
Exactly.
do what you want
Boy,
to do. But
but,
So
I've been.
I was doing it before, but I wasn't as confident.
Hmm.
Hearing, so I mean, I certainly, a lot of it. I was looking at the cues every day, looking and seeing, m- more so than actually getting in before I started doing the short term flips and so forth. It was a lot of trying to study the cues and see how the thinking is, and then in hearing the episode, it gave me more confidence to go in with probably bigger sums of money, and I actually did pretty well with Wisynco the other day, where
The Cinco gave us a good
Wisynco,
run.
yeah, I think Wisynco gave us a really good run. I can't remember the exact numbers, but I think I went in at 13 something and came out in the 20, like $20 something,
Yeah,
mhm.
like
man, I think it was pretty
2022, and it went as high as 2060,
What was
and
the time period between the 13 and the 20?
a week.
it was
Right.
like a couple days.
Oh my God. Well, Phil, I cut in your story, but I
Yeah.
want you to say something, which is something I wanted to ask. I remember wanting to ask Shanice, and I was listening to it afterwards. I was like, yo, you should have asked her more. And there's one time when Danai asked, and I interrupted, as I am wanting to do. But tell us, how did you know? How did you know?
How
Like
did I know?
that's what people listen. Yeah, that's what people listening want
Be-
to hear. They want to know what made you know to go into Wisynco now and to hold it. What made you know it was going to go up that steeply in just 1 week? And then how did you know to come out?
I didn't know how high it was going to go. A lot of what I used was the cues. In terms of choosing a stock that you're gonna do something like that with, it
Mhm.
usually would have to be a stock that is widely held, in order to get decent volumes. And then the more popular companies, Wisynco, JMMB, um, probably Supreme Ventures, VMill, they lend themselves more to it because it's a little bit more predictable. It's a little bit easier to predict the movement of a large number of people, movement of a herd, than it is to predict a movement in a company that is more tightly held, like say 138. And so the queues were gathering a lot of
Those.
strength on the buy side, right? And I was,
Mhm.
I mean, if you, in the group, you would have seen me posting the number of people in the buy and the sell queues around that time, almost obsessively, really, putting the number of people in the queues, and you could see that the sellers were decreasing, the buyers were increasing. I can't remember honestly what the news was around that time, but then you are seeing the prices go up and come down, and so I decided to get in. So I saw it happen a couple times where it went to 16 and then came down, came
This
back
is
down to the 13, and then I
over a couple
decided
of days.
over a couple of days,
Hmm.
and I decided to go in. And then when I decided to come out was because you started to see more sellers coming in, more people trying to take profit. And at
Hmm.
some point in time, the bottom is going to fall out. So you don't necessarily try to catch the peak or the trough, because that is where you end up basically flipping a coin. And you know, you can't. Nobody can predict the exact top or the exact bottom. Well, I wouldn't say nobody, but it's difficult to predict the exact top and the exact bottom. Um,
Yes.
and so
Well,
you choose
you'll
a
only know
price.
after they pass. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you choose a target price. You kind of base that on the strength of the buys and the sells coming in, and not just the number of people in the queues, but the volumes in the queues, and then and choose a price to come out. And in during the day, you actually can see. Sometimes you can see the trend in what is likely to happen towards the end of the day in a queue. So, if, for example, it was happening with JMMB recently, where the buy queue was at uh like would be like at 33. The top buy would be at 33 and the top seller would be at 34. And for the whole day, you're seeing it like that, and then you see a few people going down to the 33 to sell, but it's not happening a lot. And if you see more people going down to 33 to sell than people going up to the 34 to buy, it wouldn't be surprising that in the last hour of the day, you might have a big sell. And so you can put yourself in the buy queue if you're looking to buy the stock. Put yourself lower in the buy queue, lower than the 33, because you might have somebody coming in um, towards the end of the day, making a big buy.
Wow. So I can tell you this: all of the beginners listening are lost
Lost.
completely, and I don't know how to give them that. There's no easy way to give them it, guys. What I'm talking about does require a
No,
little
very
bit of
lazy.
not yeah. There really is no easy answer, no easy way to give you it. But I will say that if you don't, I'll tell you at least this. When he talks about the queue, J Trader, and if you don't know what that is, come to grow. All right, everymickle.com/store/grow. But if you don't know what that is, that's a tool. JTrader is a tool from JSC, and it allows you to see on it, in addition to the whole market, allows you to see what people are offering to buy shares for and how much the people that have the shares are selling it for. So that's a queue. That's the most I can tell you. But the rest of us who know, you kind of get it. And I'm sure them going to have a whole heap of questions. On to question him on Twitter. Tell him your Twitter at to them, don't at me, please.
Yeah, my at is at Philberg Invests on Twitter.
There we go. There we go. And I noticed that Shay had her hand up because Shay didn't want to say something. So tell us, Shay, what your story was.
I was just saying that I just checked because I've been staying away from my portfolio a lot. But I just
Mm-hmm.
checked and I'm actually down 11.1%, not 20. So yay.
Mm, I mean, that's pretty good. But why you staying away from your portfolio? Just cause it's bad?
It was stressing me out, man. When COVID just started, it was stressing me
Ah,
out.
the corona.
Stressing me out. I'm like, yo, let's just not look at this for a while. How about that?
Yeah, you
So I did
can't.
that
You
for a little
can't.
bit, but yeah, I'm back in the game.
That's
Back in the
good.
game.
Don't ever allow. My advice for you and anybody else is, don't allow a bad portfolio, a bad situation to cause you to stop paying attention to it. It's like
Yeah.
if
Yo, for real.
think if you have a sore throat and you hate having a sore throat, or you get a sore throat now in a corona time, and you're like, yo, I know whenever you forgot like a river flex there, and you catch a sore throat 3 days later, right? Do you go and try and handle it, or do you just ignore it? And I know human beings will think you must ignore it, but you try and handle it, right? Same thing with your portfolio. Don't ignore it. It can't help. If you're in a bad place, the best thing you can do is look at the actual bad place you are and try and rebuild from there.
Hmm.
That's basically what I did. So yeah, that's great advice because it worked.
Yeah, man, my boy. The day it stop work, you'll know because you'll swim on Twitter ball. Yeah, and I didn't even realize. I don't want to sound like I'm some Zen master. I'm not. But I didn't realize, I have to look back and realize that I went through the same thing you did. There are times when I just never used to look. And now if I don't look, it's because of time. It's not because of being afraid of it. And it has helped. And look at it this way. I was looking the other night, between the first week of March and the end of March, I would have lost more than $10 million in market value.
Yeah.
Right? What you do? It better dead. I'm not kill off myself. You
Yeah.
just move and you go again. You have to make it back. Um, that's just how it goes. You can't. And I'm not saying that to sound like, yo, if I can lose 10 million, you can't. No, because the truth is, I wasn't going to cash that 10 million out. So whatever happened, happened. But
Right.
on your side, if it's $10 loan you have, treat the $10 important same way. And I don't want to sound like I'm okay with that 10 mil being gone. Yeah, best believe me, want it back, and I'm coming for it.
You know that thing there that not saying I've ran the money, but
Hear him.
if you look at it, if you're losing 20 if you say you lose 20% on thing there on on $100,000, right? Then your goal is to make back $20,000. You're not to lose 20% and he loses $10 million. Then his goal is to make back $10 million. It's going to be harder for Randy to move
Much
enough.
harder.
Yeah, so I think that's
Yeah.
the challenge of it's like a large holding or just having larger holdings. Losing money on
Yeah.
them to make it back is a longer journey or just a harder journey because you have less options now.
Yep.
Only certain things can take the money to make back $10 million. So you want 10% on something. You see a 10% play, but it
Hmm.
can't hold. It can only take $200,000. Then why?
That's the
Exactly.
thing, you know.
And bigger
Much
fees.
Yeah.
easier.
So as you make more money, so as you make more money, then it becomes a problem to actually try and make it back.
Um,
So I
Yep.
think that was my challenge with the thing there. Not $10 million, but it was my challenge. It is my challenge getting back to where I was at the start of this year. So how I started this year versus now because of the whole COVID situation and the market and what happened with my stocks. Guys, I just talk about Shanice about saying the market. So what happened with my stocks and the money I lost because of where I lost the money and how much I lost to recover that now is it's a grind.
Yeah.
But you can't stop.
Yeah. You
Like you
can.
can't
Yeah.
stop.
And I mean, it's not a problem that I like. This is one of the things where, the different levels of money have different levels of problems. And I'm talking about in the market, right? Um, and so if you have 10 grand, if you have 100 grand, if you have 300 grand, depending on what's stuck in, you can move it in and out. If you have a million or more for some holdings, I mean, you have to do things like what Dana and I will tell you, like Sygnus. We spot we spot some coming from a long time.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
mean
so
2 or 3
it's
weeks.
funny. So I haven't said it in the group that what we did with Signals. So I'm sorry, guys. Randy, guys, said we also continue, Randy.
No, I'm not really selling it out. I'm just saying that we saw it for a very, or unless that's what it is. But we saw it for a very long time. But for some stocks, if you have a certain level of holding, sometimes you just can't move it out. You
Yeah.
can't move. You literally just can't move. You see it coming and you just have to ride it.
Uh-huh.
For lab, my 10 mil was lab. I as somebody who has touched the short term long enough, you can see certain things where like, it's good to cash out 2 or 3 million here, 4 million. But that's hard for if I do that, I want to tank the price. Me moving out 5 million will tank the price.
Yeah.
And cause a rush in the market,
Because somebody
which
will
might
say, wait there, I'm not staying in this crash. I'm gone.
exactly. And
Yeah.
I don't actually have, as much as we joke about money, I don't actually have a lot of money, right? So I can't say to myself, yo, let me cash out 5 mil, cause it to crash, but I'll make it back in 3 or 4 years, which I can say, but I don't know about that right now. My money not strong, so yeah. So
Yeah, depend on the 3 or 4 years.
yeah,
Like rich early is the best time. Early is the best time to be rich.
Trust me.
yo, Corona has taught me that. Imagine if you were doing low and slow for the last
It,
2 years before Corona.
eh, think about how much money we've made in the last since I've started investing, right? So I thought about my
Yeah.
returns, about nice heavy percentage returns as at the no, and even as at the start of this year. But the money I've lost from Corona, it's insignificant to the money I've made over the time I've been investing. And because my drive was, boy, let me get these heavy returns. Boy, if you make 30% in the last 3 years and the market, whatever it done, wipe it out in 1 quarter, then rough. Imagine that. It took you 3 years to make 30% and 1 quarter to lose all that.
Yeah.
Back to square one.
Yeah.
That rough, man.
Yeah, man, it rough bad. But that's just part of investing. You have to hold that is what I mean by taking emotions out of it.
And
Big up Kwame on his episode when he said that. Yeah.
I'm reading something happened in portfolio. You have to be checking across with his broker on some things. And he was telling me that he's now senior, like he's fully checked his portfolio and he's realizing he's at a full loss. He's at less money than he started with, right?
Mm.
Wow.
Wow.
And the first thing I said to him was, "That's all right because the habit is more important than like, it's almost as important than the money than the gains they make from it. Because if you keep putting money into this and you don't get the gains over time, then that's better than boy. Every now and then I throw all the money I have at it, and when I come to check it now, boy, I have less money. Imagine that, like, and then you stop investing, and then you just don't get anything gained from this. You start spending all the money instead. To actually have the habit of let me invest some money, so when you actually go back, you need it. There's something there because he has quite a good amount of money from he has lost money, and just the fact that say it's been sitting there in some sort of saving, it's savings of some sort. Like he has money put down somewhere. If he needs money right now, he's good, he's fine. So even though he's lost,
Mm.
he has money put down somewhere, and it's a good amount because he's been pushing so much money to it over and over and over and over. On my earlier point about heavy holdings and losing money, boy, imagine like Chris Berry and John Jackson looking at MJE and QWI.
Right?
They
Right?
for them to say, "Let me recover this."
Stress.
Because what we talking, we're only talking about 10 million, and imagine how much they. You can see MJE and QWI's report, which we should be going into soon. You
Yes.
can see
Yeah, I'll do.
oh yeah, I just remember the episode about.
Right?
We can see how much money they've actually lost, how much money the companies have actually lost from this, and think about what they have to do now to recover that money,
Yes.
to move
And
out
remember,
and move in. And they have certain plays open to them that the rest of us can't just do. But if you think about it, boy, rough on them same way because the amount of money and they have to go and they have shareholders in there with them. They have to make the return
Yeah.
and find a way to do it.
Yep.
well, that's just exactly where it going. You guys would know. Well, privately, I said I didn't say it on the show, but I'm gonna cry for rich people. You can't. Everybody has their own struggles, and it's how you deal with it. And maybe that's me being rough,
Now, wait till the
but
preacher and say different talk. You begin to
what
realize
you
that rich,
mean?
rich people have feelings
Yeah.
too. He said that on the
Oh,
podcast, by the way.
I have said that. I have said that. You guys do have feelings. All right?
You guys.
Anyway, guys, so for the yap yap, what you actually came here for, we're gonna kick this thing off properly. So it's a market review. We've had a crap load of companies release their earnings. So we're gonna start with when earnings season did start, Danai? Like last week.
Yeah, last week,
Last
sometime
week.
last week.
It's supposed to be Friday, officially last week, Friday the 15th.
Yeah,
But
that's when everything's
I
due. But everything starts trickling in. Oh,
from
start
ECB
before.
and
from before that. We
BIL.
got some early results from from some companies.
That's
Yeah.
correct. I think from maybe the 8th we started seeing some stuff.
Yep.
So we'll just throw the things out. People talk and we hear it go. I'm going to start it off with, I think, I want to say Honey Bun, but Honey Bun came out on the 14th. And I think something came out before that. Anybody know what would have started it?
Yeah,
Not
then if you
checking.
want to count NCB and BIL, they
Oh
always kick it
Yeah,
off.
yes.
probably
Mm.
Even though
very time.
we did mention Barita's numbers.
True.
Yeah, we
On the
did mention
podcast.
Barita.
Yeah,
Barita,
man.
fine it as always.
Dark horse. I'm fine it, man. I'm fine it. Randy Dark
Yeah.
horse.
Mm.
Boy, I keep saying it. Randy came to teach investing. I ended up teaching vocabulary.
Oh my lord.
Vocabulary.
You're funny. You're funny. Um, that people Dana is a troublemaker, yeah? Oh, you remember that. Dana is a troublemaker. I might have to stand for it, but Dana is a troublemaker.
I just
I
don't talk
think
as much.
The Pulse.
Yeah, man. I seen
Pulse
Pulse drop something
Pulse
early,
came out
early,
on the
early.
came
Oh
6th.
out
yes, and we were
May
saying,
6th. Yeah.
and Randy were saying, boy, he dropped strong results early. It's a show of strength.
mhm, I think so. Or maybe I think what happened with Corona hitting the market, some companies, especially those who
No,
my
Barita dropped
personal view.
first. Barita actually dropped
Well,
before it.
before Pulse?
Yeah, the fifth.
Oh, that's good. Well, it's the same rule. Some companies, I think, who might not always be viewed by the investing public in the way that they might want the investing public to view them, have to, again, this is my personal view, have to
Preempt.
always be preempt certain reactions, remind people about what's out there. Pulse is another one
Hmm.
who they actually they stood up during the Corona time,
I mean,
Absolutely.
that's the thing there. I still see analysts that think Pulse's main business is modeling.
right? And real estate now, right?
You hear it. My favorite word, core. Let me
Core,
talk about core.
yes. Yes, that is true. All the time you hear about core from Pulse.
Core.
But what is Pulse's actual core these
Where,
days?
where we're making the money really.
Well, we can start it off.
But
Pulse, I
quarterly
mean,
report.
yeah, the quarterly report dropped, which covered up to March 31st, 2020.
Yep.
And for everybody, you'll hear us talk about Corona. I think officially Corona would be like the first week of March. So maybe the third or the fourth, that's when the market started to fall out.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
don't, if it's not true,
Third.
don't let me get that in. Okay, the third. Yeah. And they had revenue of, that's from January to March 31st, had revenue of 162.6 million Jamaican versus the same period last year they had a revenue of 108.2 million.
Yep.
Yeah, and of course net profit of 255.2 mil versus 108.2 million same period last year, right? And on the 9 months, because March is their 9 months, that works out to 475.1 million revenue
Mm.
versus 721.2 profit, and the same and the 9 months a year before. And guys, if you think this is annoying that I keep comparing it, then you need to definitely learn more about investing, because that's all it is.
Yep. Exactly. It's funny.
Yeah,
That's funny.
the 329.01 million in the previous 9 month period versus 728.2 million in this period, which means that they've more than doubled their profit in both the quarter and the 9 months.
Yep.
And these guys are strong. No, elephant in the room. Heavy profit came from the revaluation of their
Property.
investment properties.
Hmm.
So real estate gains.
Yep.
not profit in a real sense.
All right, so
That's
them
what a
say
lot of people say.
until them buy a house and then start to say, well, or until
I have equity.
yeah, or until them thing they call it again, they start selling you their real estate unit trust.
Ah,
Ah, that is true. That is true.
That's a new way to
That
look
is
at it.
true. Yeah, new at all, but that's good. That's good that you put that out there. That's true.
That honestly, I don't want anybody in industry to tell me, yo, I have this real estate unit trust selling, but don't look at Paul's profit because guess what? It's too much real estate gains. Big up yourself.
It's not
right,
real gains.
right.
it's crazy though. There's so much value in that real estate
Yeah.
value.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can borrow
Rent
against
can
that.
go up. My rent can go up proportional to thing there. Or I can say, look on this. I am underweighting my rental prices based on the value of this property. Everything in this area, say generally you find that thing there. If an area starts having a swing in their property values, right, and
Hmm.
then you find a rent price is going up. So what was 50,000 a month last year is now $100,000 a month. But Pulse, they don't really have a big flexibility. There's not much change in the actual price in the actual rental prices. They're no cheaper than everywhere else in the area, despite having thing there. So they're a better alternative. If I want to rent in their area, then boy, looking at 70,000. But guess what? Pulse at 50,000 and they have this nice room, whatever. It's the same level of property, but it's cheaper. I don't know that type of thing. It's really good for a thing there. But I find that people not big up Lauren's critique of certain voices. They don't look at stuff like that. It's not real to them. It's just what's on the paper.
That is true. It's not they don't think of what's actually happening behind the scenes, and Pulse has a whole heap of excitement happening behind the
Yep.
scenes and stuff.
And
Pulse has
we
so
already hear
many
about the
things
new business
going
they're
on.
doing. Yep,
Yeah.
and it's going on right now.
Mm,
Despite COVID, I mean COVID not gonna stop the builders, right?
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, no,
Or it
we
can.
heard from.
But it can, but
Well,
I
well,
continue, Andy, continue.
well, we see where the prime minister said that the construction continues,
Exactly.
and we had one construction person a couple episodes ago, bigger up Miss Irvin,
Mm-hmm.
where she spoke about the fact that she's in construction and projects have not stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Some have slowed down, but not really.
Yeah.
Even then, once you made that outlay, once you start, you made that outlay and you start, you kind of, it's kind of like falling dominoes. You can't afford to start building
Can't
and
afford
stop
stuff.
because it costs more to have it just sitting there.
Yep.
Yeah,
That,
target.
that's been one of the biggest drags on money for a lot of people. You can see some places start and you see them start break down because money run out halfway. So it's in your best interest to not stop.
Hmm, that's true.
And you
So,
also need to
Pulse,
look at
no, continue. Sorry.
What are you saying, Phil?
from the point of view of say a contractor. If you are building for say a Pulse or Sandals or a big company like that, and you tell them that you're building it in 6 months, you sign a contract saying that you're building this in 6 months, and if you don't have that ready for them in 6 months, you the contractor are liable unless you have some serious extenuating circumstances and it's up in the air as to whether or not you can use corona as for that
Yep.
excuse,
And your credibility is on the line too.
and your
You,
credibility is on the line. Yeah,
how so I only see that going, where you come and say and contractor say, I'm stretch it up.
exactly.
Man,
Only a little man build a house can do that, but
what am I gonna say?
you can't go tell Kingsley Cooper that and say what? He said, no, you this is 6 months, you tell me. This is the
Because
money you get.
you want the next contract Kinsey Cooper come with. So
Exactly.
do a good job.
Yeah, boy. So, how we feel about Pulse?
Looking great to me.
Same
And
here. I am still a shareholder.
As I am also.
so am I.
Yeah. Look at that. We're biased then, man.
Mm, most.
We are biased then. What's
Not
next up?
currently a shareholder, but I also like it. Um, last I was, and I'm thinking of getting back in, but
For me.
I don't know, watching it a little bit and have a little bit more thinking to do around it. But it looks good. And somebody said something the other day that made me look at it a different way when they said, um, it's they care about the share price. And I thought that was important.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ooh,
I think
like you
I
think
said
that
that. Was that me?
Pulse?
Shanice made that tweet. Yeah.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh,
Yeah.
niceness, man.
So you think, well, Shani, since it was your point, why did you say that? What did you mean?
Why? Well, I went to we call it the AGM. That was my first
Hmm.
AGM Pulse, and hearing Kingsley Cooper talk about the stock price over the years, the historic, um, how Pulse have performed over the years, and how they were the best performing stock in this year and that year. You can tell it's something that he really likes saying, and they like to put it in their reports as well.
Yeah, man.
They,
You
they also
always
put it
say
on their
Pulse
The
was the
stocks
best
real.
newsfeed,
performing stock in this year and that year.
Mm-hmm. Cause it
The
stocks real.
stock splits over the years prove that they see the stock go up to a price and it gets stuck. They want it to move more. They want their shareholders to have more value. So they split
Mm.
the stock so you can make more money off of it. As soon as the stock go up and it's stagnant again, you split the stock again.
Yeah.
I
So
like
that
that.
to me was evidence of them actually caring about how the stock performs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what every company does.
Because to me, that make you realize that what's real to you is real to the top owners of the company. Because a lot of
Exactly.
them is I own. You find with owners a lot that the shares are more often just this is how I control my company. If I have this amount of the company, then this is what it is to me. You don't find much owners capitalizing on actual the value of the company more than just okay, the company pays me this every month or the dividends from the company. A lot of them they're very far removed from the actual situation of the shares.
Yeah.
To you, your interest in the company doing well is my dividends and my capital appreciation, and you want your dividends to be growing over X period. So you're so you still have investment in how you're vested, you have a vested interest in why the company doing well, but it's very often a different reason than the top owner of the company. And if I always rate companies where the top owners understand where I'm coming from and have the same view as me, because boy, they're working towards the same goal in that aspect.
yeah, that
Mhm.
that
It's
that
like
is
when
a
them
major thing,
it's like when them cost Bezos for how much is thing there. For how much Amazon is worth or whatever thing there is worth to him. And you realize that this man is never selling to a certain he's never going to be selling to a certain beyond a certain point.
right?
Because guess what Amazon that's what his shareholding in Amazon is to him. It's his control of the company. If I sell and then this next man own too much and income give me talk, then and no I care my vision of the company starts straying because what I say next man will voice over me. It's not gonna work out. So his net worth is a consequence of how he views his company, or really his control in the company. He just boy, this is thing I have because I have to have it with control of the company. So no. This is me rambling about things that's on Twitter.
But tying it back in with the company, which is good. I don't see any way that you can go around just the fact that Pulse is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Very.
Hmm.
So I think we are kind of like how Pulse feels, and I think they have more exciting things coming. And I like the fact that them, like Shanice and Shay say, they care about. They seem at least to care about the share price.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Yeah,
have
and not
some.
many.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Shanice.
Now saying they have some acquisitions coming up as well.
Oh yes.
Yes, they did say that. They said that they wanted to make an investment into Jam. Is it Jam? I have that right?
Yeah,
The
it's
radio
Arijam.
station in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
tri-state area, who later on came out with another thing. Shay, you were saying something?
it was similar to what Chan was saying, where and you said it the other day too, where you were saying that they've only done like one of the things that they said they were going to do. So, there's definitely more coming.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's
man.
that.
Yeah, man. Coronavirus interrupted them as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm. But you know,
Yeah.
trans, that's again, this is some close and far removed from this reality, from other people's realities. But boy, that's the big thing about me the most about thing the corona. About the opening the for other companies that just have to stop right now because of happening with it. Rough.
Hmm.
One of my things for Pulse though was seeing that they cancelled Caribbean Fashion Week,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that really contributes a lot to their TV side, which was a big part of their revenue for last year.
Yep. And a big part of how they think they how they market the models.
Yeah,
It's a good thing they
Yeah.
diversified into real estate.
Real
the
But
estate
real
yeah,
estate
sector.
is really going to have to hold them up.
yeah, but you know how things are going on for that. But you can see right now what's happening with it's open by the economy. So that might not be a it's not a bad move for Pulse because of the way they rented their Trafalgar location. The place
38
on
Trafalgar.
Trafalgar Road. Yes,
Hmm.
the thing
Mm-hmm.
they remember what who they rent to. So they rent to salons and business people are rented out. So if the business
Hmm.
open back, then they have their consistent income. They
Yeah.
they had given them a blight last I heard from them, right? They had given them a blight for a certain period, and then no,
Correct.
imagine that they gave them a blight in the March quarter, and look at the numbers for March quarter.
Right.
Yep.
and revenue still went up. Regular
Exactly,
non investment property revaluation revenue
exactly.
still rose. Still. What's this? Almost doubled.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's the point.
it went up from 65.7 to 114.5.
Uh-huh. So
74% increase.
yep. So that
Yes, that
well,
boss
I
it.
think I said it on an earlier. I definitely said it on an earlier episode. I don't really like diversifying too much, but I love when my
Hmm.
companies do it because they lessen the shocks across the board. Something happening in one sector,
Mm.
then the other sector is covering it, and we can see it's happening right here.
Exactly.
Yep.
We give the rentals a blight, and we still make more money. So the rentals will be coming back online very likely right now. So
Mm-hmm.
here we are.
That's right.
Well, glad to see that. CAC 2000. I don't know if we said it on the episode. Did we, Danai? Did we speak about the latest results?
It's a boy them just them rough with every time things supposed to good now. Then the next problem. The roadworks as roadworks free up
Yeah.
and then finally it's back to okay, let's go back to business. Corona.
Corona.
Yeah,
On cue.
exactly that.
Right.
That's Cardi.
Uh, yeah. and the boy, as much as it, I still say that. Come on, guys. People aren't walking on the road and going, "Hey, we should buy an AC."
Mm-hmm.
That's not really what's happening. So, not to say that that is not it hasn't impacted them. What I was looking for was their gains from that uh construction project that they were supposed to be involved in.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how that going now. 'Cause I think it was a hotel, right? Either a hotel or a
Yep.
set of or something like that. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how
I don't
that's
know
going.
that I don't know that businesses are doing AC maintenance or installations during the coronavirus period either. Kinda,
Hmm.
you work from home then boy, I forgot about the AC themselves, brother. You're
Yeah.
not come tell
Right.
me my AC.
And burn my light bill.
Nah.
Um, but up until January, up to the end of January 31st, they had made a profit of 1.3 million Jamaican dollars versus the
They're
year
booking out
before.
their loss.
Yeah, they had made a loss of 37.7 million. So CAC, and I think it's great for the people who are interested in a longer term hold while speaking with their licensed financial advisor, which I didn't tell you guys in case you don't know. Nobody on the show is a licensed investment
Yeah.
advisor, and nothing that we say here, especially because we're talking about stocks, live stocks, is actual investment advice. Speak to your investment advisor about anything that we say here. This is not investment advice. All right. Boom. Out of the way. MPC, Dana, your company.
NPC.
They dropped
It's
something
my
April
company.
2nd, actually. Yeah.
April 2nd.
Yeah,
Uh,
man. They dropped something April 2nd. And yeah, April 2nd, they had dropped their results up to December 31st.
mm-hmm.
How anybody else feel about
Year-end report.
MPC?
It's a year-end report. Seems a bit late though. Parties are unaudited.
Yeah. And MPC always has, because they're more, in my view, more Bayesian company.
Yes,
Are they?
because of the nature. Because when again, it's us. Inv- the company we own invests in the operations of a company across there. So that company is closer to the actual companies so that company invests in companies. So that's actually the closer one. We're just a vehicle to push money into that company.
Yeah, but even the thing that the vehicle is Bayesian, it's Bayesian, and the vehicle is Bayesian, and the actual fund is Caymanian.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yes, we just have it. Okay,
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. Definitely agreed.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and
Philip,
the,
this report. I have it. Do you have it open, Phil?
Yeah,
look like, yeah, you
yeah,
have this
man.
one open, Phil.
I do.
This answer the income statement answers a question that you asked this week, and I did my usual go around. I did not respond really.
Oh,
So
Anthony
what
okay.
was the
asked me
question?
questions. He was asking about JMMB and how they will
Oh, the
book
dividends.
Aha.
SFC.
SFC, the gain on thing, the gain in associate, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and he was wondering if they would also book dividends from
Right.
SFC
Mm-hmm.
while booking the gain from thing there.
Because they have
MPC,
received two
exactly.
big dividends.
MPC before they were doing a different accounting method, so they weren't booking the share of profit. They were booking the
Dividend.
movement in the value of the asset.
Mm-hmm.
So the asset grew, so they booked more profit. But with that movement, they had some issue there, and they weren't booking the dividends. So the dividends we were getting were cash flow.
Right.
So you weren't seeing the dividends in the income statement at all for some reason. And they changed over to a new method, so they're now booking the investment in
Dividend income.
associates as well as the dividend income. So we can see the dividends as a material source of or profits from the company.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Um,
in front of you,
yeah.
dividend income and gain on investment, which is
Valuation gain on
and they
investment.
remember they see the company as an associate. It should be
Ah,
somewhere in
more than
there.
an associate. Because they own 60% odd. That's how it
Yeah,
works.
man, but because of how the thing there, because they don't consider themselves a thing there, a controlling interest in that company.
Ah, okay.
So
Okay.
they are not thing there. So it's investments in associates and joint ventures.
Okay. Yeah, they describe it as a master entity with a master feeder structure.
And
It can
and with if
no.
they did book with if they did book this as a subsidiary, then we wouldn't be seeing a dividend income. It would just be consolidating the fund.
If
So
it was
this
as a
way,
subsidiary. Right.
yeah. So this way, with we're seeing the dividends we get from that company coming into MPC, the company we can own, as well as the share of the profits based on how much of the company MPC itself owns.
Okay.
Yeah.
But bringing it since you mentioned JMMB, are
Yes.
we not going to see the dividend income from JMMB? Because JMMB does consider Sagicor Financial Corporation to be an
An
associate.
associate.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So since they both see them the same, I'm saying to Philip that this is indicative that we will be seeing dividends from SFC
Ah,
in thing there. Sorry, in JMB's financials as a revenue item. So income, they'll go straight to them bottom line basically.
quite so.
Interesting.
I will even go too deep into it because I grow. I did talk about it, so the grower people listening know exactly what my thoughts on it were. It being JMMB,
Yeah.
um, and their future. Uh, so MPC, the only person, well, unless anybody else have something else, I'd ask Shay how she felt because she did mention that this was
Yes. So yes.
her first real
I'm
invest.
satisfied. I'm satisfied.
Okay, still a shareholder.
Yes. I still have some shares. I did the APO and sold some, so I made a nice little money off that.
Oh yeah.
Of
So
the APO because that was what $200 odd, and they were selling at like
Mm,
145 or something like 150,
mm-hmm.
one
Very close.
forty somewhere there.
Like numbers.
So that was
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Nice.
nice. You make some money off it. But this is another company. This is one of those companies that I am hesitant to jump into because it does not.
Because yes, it does
Very
not see
illiquid.
trading very often. So this is why I
So
Yeah.
actually
so
jumped out. Made a good money off
so
it and say, let's cut my loss, cut my ties. I like it
yeah.
though.
So what I have left of it isn't a lot, but I don't know. I look at the queue every day and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Not too much.
I have to say it's the last one that I'm holding. It's the last rich people company that I'm holding, and I know you teach me better than this. But
No,
I don't
if
know.
it, it if it
I'm
if
not
it
there yet.
matches your goals, if it matches your goals, it matches your
You
goals.
know
If
what?
you're
It
getting more,
doesn't match my goal. It's a rich people company. It's so
Oh,
so it's. I actually looked at it today and I was like, this the last one, Shay. What you doing? What's up?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll see what the rest of the week holds.
but to be honest, I think people might underprice the dividends for this until they get a dividend. Say, wait, I can't ignore that one because if nobody, you can see the gains coming from it. Look at the thing there, what the PE on this. If you
the
analyze,
P
yeah,
the
what the PE on this.
PE on MPC is and the Jamaican one is 16.8 times, 16.97 times.
And that's on how much numbers so far. Shit. So when things come out and you start looking, you get everything annualized and looking good, then you might see a
People
very
might,
different,
yeah.
and its dividends start coming through to us that might be heavier than the usual 2%, 1%. Then we might see people start pushing to it because
Uh-huh.
it's a good one to own for dividends. That's what I think it will be.
Mm, well, I mean, I like it.
Yeah,
I like it, but I'm not in there.
me
But I
neither.
do like it. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's too. It does have a US dollar option too, which is even worse, right? Because the US dollar side of the market really don't move.
I think there. I just showed my hand by the way on an earlier episode. Me, you, and Ryan, we there was a mention by one of you guys saying at least one of us got into NPC this week before it moved up.
Yes,
Oh,
I would never said who it
Who
was.
said who it was?
Yeah. So you did tell the people. So for the long term listeners like Shay and Shadis and Phil, you guys know hear who it was. It was Danai. I did not jump in. Yeah,
Not
I'm very
surprising.
wary of almost all US dollar stocks.
Oh, yeah,
None of the US dollar stocks really trades.
uh-huh. Yes,
Yeah.
so
That's
Jamaica.
true.
So, but boy, the US dollar thing, I'm afraid of it. So Philip knows, Chinese knows how much I bother Philip about this, about
yeah.
boy the US dollar thing there.
I know. I
Yeah.
know.
You
Cause
know,
okay, I go ahead, and then I have a point after. Go ahead.
yeah, I was thinking about this US dollar thing. And even yesterday I was talking to David and I was like, the US dollar is so high up now, I could probably jump out of
Mm-hmm.
one of them and still be up, you know.
You could.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's all the way up there, and
Mm-hmm.
and and I'm always talking about my proven and my SCI. So I was like, I could probably leave and still leave and be happy because it's that high.
Uh-huh.
Word.
So
But
it's
my
it's just
Um.
another way to look at it.
yeah, man. But my issues when I said all that, I said, boy, the US dollar shotgun. So this year, with the US dollar thing, so I bought a shares at 14 cents US. It's and they're now trading at 20 cents US, right? I'm like, boy, that's a nice gain. And then I see the US dollar itself. I live in Jamaican dollars. So my real care right now is, boy, what the Jamaican dollar compared to US. If I have in US, I can sell it and make a gain now because the US dollar shotgun, right? And
Hmm.
then I look in that queue for my $20, my 20-cent stocks, and the best price I see is 15 cents because
Yeah,
nobody really buying this thing. Or say I say
yeah.
at 20
Hmm.
cents, but the volumes on it is just terrible. Like I can't exit any significant portion of my thing there of this stock because I put too much money into this thing. So the trading on the US like is really daunting to me. I prefer really and truly just go in,
Oh,
make the
yeah,
money
I get that.
into Jamaican and don't have to worry about can I sell this thing.
Yep.
And you guys,
I
US owners are look on the US owners are Sygnus. Them not to
Zero
sell.
bids, zero bids, zero asks.
Then say, Mr. Go chill. I make him a dividend income. I make it go on do
I
the thing.
understand.
You find a lot of them, they're not really looking at share price as a thing to be moved.
Yep.
They're
And
looking
we're
at dividend.
recording this. We're recording this May 19th,
Yeah.
and SCI USD. Although I don't know what JC's new Cygnus layout is,
Yeah.
it don't make sense to me. But SCI USD, according to JTrader, the last time it traded was March 20th, and we're currently recording this May 19th. So
Yeah.
it's almost 2 months later.
Yep.
Yeah, imagine if you're in there, you need to get $1,000 out
Exactly. So
immediately.
that I usually pose that as the emergency situation. Very
Yep.
often I either taking a heavy loss, so the money I made and I still have $1 million in Cygnus, and I really need to get to. I need $1 million. Can I exit at $1 million?
Yeah,
That's a crazy thing.
that's a real
Or can
consideration.
I even
But
exit? What? I'm not going to
exactly.
play with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
And a
if
lot
things
of
change
people,
and if them start trading more, then boy, go ahead now. You see me with you trading it, but right now I can't trade it, so I'd rather not.
yeah. So
Yeah, I get that point.
John Jackson's
What the
IC Insider had an article out today, and
Yeah.
his article is saying JSE US dollar volume doubles. Right? He's saying that
Hmm.
the trading on the JSE's US dollar market on Tuesday was twice that on Monday, but with fewer active companies, which caused the index to drift down. So here it is. Four securities change hands today, with three declining and one remaining unchanged, right? I
uh,
mean, and that's different because the day before seven securities had traded, but I guess the unit count was lower.
uh,
So yeah, you're really not looking at anything too heavy. And really, first Rock Capital, that 7,000 units coming out, proven had a nice little bit of trading, and Sygnus also had some nice trading. Um, and obviously, well, if he's seeing Cygnus trades and I'm not seeing it on J Trader, that means that he is seeing something more than I am, which at this point I can't tell you what's happening
Yeah,
with JC's website.
probably look at the thing that
Because,
they trade on.
something is wrong
well,
because
I'm
I
probably looking
know.
at the main market. That's why it is. I'm probably looking at the main market versus the US dollar market. So what they do is they renamed how the shares are. So SCI JMD has both a JMD version and a USD version, but both are called SCI JMD.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't know what I'll go on this one.
I thought it was
yeah,
a
and
mistake, but
um,
it's
Boy,
persisted.
I'm not sure,
So
you know.
I don't
I'm
know.
not sure. Maybe it's a deliberate thing and we just don't understand it.
yeah.
It's
Of
weird.
course, you can tell from the news release that JSC put out on their news page on the front side to have us understand what has been going on. So you can read that if you want to know what it is about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually all messed up on the JC website because they actually have the price of SCI USD today as $13.06.
Yeah, man.
So
It's
something.
I'm really not sure what's going on that
And it's been like that for a while.
while. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Crazy.
Well, I don't want to cuss JC no more on this show. They either improve or they won't. So let me jump from that to the exciting one, Key Insurance.
Haha.
Yes.
So on April 14th,
Oh,
April
okay. Just
14th,
continue, yeah,
key
man.
key dropped what are these unaudited numbers? They are unaudited numbers, which is up to the 31st of December 2019, right?
Audited.
And then well, no, this is earlier, so before.
Oh, sorry.
So so now we're seeing audited numbers, I believe, which came out what today.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's a
Alright.
Yeah,
difference.
there's a huge
You
difference,
know,
Big
right?
very
difference.
often
Huge.
the report comes out and it look nice, and then the audit comes out and it's like, oh, Jano,
Yeah.
it's
This is
different
the other
situation
way
this time
around.
around.
Key was the other way around.
Yeah, you
Key was what? Tell me.
say it was thing there. The
It was.
unaudited was boy, Jano. Although we didn't expect much from Key. We had a thing there, net loss of 470 million in the last 3 months,
Mhm.
which is
Uh,
769 in the for the year end. 769 million loss year end in
mhm.
the unaudited, and in the audited,
It
if this thing
came
goes
out and
smooth,
things were a little better.
much
A
better.
lot better.
A lot better is weird.
200 for sorry, move from a 769 million loss to a 257 million dollar loss.
Hmm. You guys know what the cause for the difference is?
And I have ran through it as yet, but
Mm.
you know I will.
Yeah, I mean, I will also, but it's a fresh loss. I should state because I know a lot of people saw my tweet about buying into Key, and a lot of people went in. And of course, the price flew heavily. I mean,
So
at one point,
I'll go and say
It's
the
crazy.
price was flying before you tweeted, which,
yeah,
which which
yeah,
which was kind of why you made the tweet.
exactly, exactly so. But it was very interesting to see the effect of that, and it has fallen since, right? I think today
Yeah, man,
it
halted down a
isn't
couple
Amen.
times
Halted
Yeah,
down to
man.
in the
580
last week.
today.
Yeah,
580.
Yeah.
580.
but
So
I
it
didn't
flew
say
up.
that I also bought key
Yeah.
at
Did it
some.
touch 12? It never touched 12, yeah?
Mm,
I think during the day, I
yeah,
think I could be
intraday
It
it
wrong.
touched
touched at
12.
12.
Mm.
Yeah,
Got a
Yeah,
nice little
few
run off
sure.
key still,
I
so
got a
I'm
very
not
nice run off
complaining.
key.
Yeah, I can't complain.
I had some
Me
fun with
worse.
key as well.
I
That
think
was
Randy,
fun.
Randy
Yeah.
got in the same time, right? Around the same time.
Say that again.
We went in around the same time, right? Or did that?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much from you're talking from last year though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's no. It closed to that $6.39,
Mm-hmm.
and it is set to. I mean, it doesn't have the same level of buy interest anymore, and I see a lot
Yeah.
of people selling it. Yeah, I see only 9 buyers in the queue, from a high of $6.20 to a low of $3.
Where do you think the interest went?
Uh, I think it's, you know what? I don't know. I think a lot of people saw the hype and it was flying, and then they saw the hype spurred by GK's the delay with the GK announcement. So GK had the announcement, and I think the market is slow. It take time for that sort of thing to catch up. So it started to fly after a while. Then worse, I got tweet about it and show that I had actually bought in, and I think that might have sent a lot of people who, even though I said don't do it, they still buy if they see me mention something, or worse, if I say I'm actually in there.
Mhm.
And so a lot of those people may have run in and bought also. And I think also people like me and you and top striker Shannon, Danai and Phil, where we buy in, and our buying in does move prices up. As also our selling causes prices to come down.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And I did think a lot of that influence has to come in there. But the things I'm excited about for Key just simply hasn't happened yet.
Same.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it's all about the GK influence. I know people are saying on Twitter, I saw a lot of people saying,
Oh God.
it's so funny. They're like, maybe the GK, there's nothing under the fundamentals to cause it to be bought and people to be buying it as much as 10 or 11 or $12 per share, blah, blah, blah. Which I can hear you saying that, but fundamentals don't talk about something new. And they're like, the only thing could be the grace factor. But that in its own is not a reason to buy it at 12.
But interestingly, so like thing there, I hate the use of the word fundamentals in the way it is used. It's they used as, so what are fundamentals? It's not just accounting. or whatever, or not just whatever the accounts print out in front of you so you can sit in there. To call something
Egg,
fundamental is to say this is a reason for for whatever value is there is in whatever company, right? So you're finding a way to derive
exactly.
value. So to omit supply and demand. So I said it
Right.
to these
Sentiment.
guys. Every economist knows supply and demand in class, but when you come to the stock market, they don't understand it anymore for some reason.
It seems to be true.
Yeah, like how is it that you don't understand where something is wanted for whatever reason, and people are willing to pay more to capitalize on that want? I know value is higher because I want it for whatever reason. And then again, valuation is subjective. So whatever the
Hmm.
fund, I can't knock that as a fundamental to say there is heavier demand for this stock. People want this more, so there's likely a movement to come from it because people want it more for whatever reason. Something is happening with the company. I'm willing to buy it higher. I'm willing to buy it. I see it at $7, and guess what? For whatever reason, I think it's worth $7 or more. I think it's worth 10. I'm not buying it at 7 when it worth 7. So I see it at 7. I want that. I want to buy it. I want to sell it at 10. So I buy a $10 stock for $7, and you have a lot more $7 people. And you should just keep buying into whatever because they value that stuff at whatever price they're seeing right now. So that's real supply and demand, and that's the effect right there.
Right,
So it's moving.
right.
It's moving based on somebody. That's happening in stock for every single time. It's moving because somebody is looking at it now and said that is undervalued. Them can wrong, yeah.
Mm.
But
But
guess what? They
if
see the
you
valuation
sold
and
it,
they move towards it.
exactly. If you sold it, you sold it. You got the money. That money is real.
Their money is
And
real.
the funny thing is, if you go back to more fundamentals, go back to what the typical consideration of fundamentals is. If people say that they are, people say that they're more interested in, a
Accounts.
good balance sheet, a
Yeah.
strong balance sheet, a growing P&L, a healthy cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
And Key obviously didn't have those things before to an extent,
Mm-hmm.
but
But guess
Grace
what?
bought them.
Grace bought
Right.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So why would I who am I to say that the person buying it at $10 isn't saying, yo, Grace has bought them. Grace has a crap load of money,
They're gonna come with it.
decades and decades worth of money,
Mhm.
and they have stated openly that their plan is to recapitalize it and make it healthy. Right?
Yeah.
Who am I to tell them that buying it at $10 might not make sense? And they would be in their rights to laugh at me if Grace does even one or two of the things that they said they've done, turn it around, and all of a sudden the fundamentals in maybe let's say 10 years, the fundamentals are showing it as $100 stock.
Mm-hmm.
They would be right to laugh at me to say that, yo, when I was buying it for $10, you're saying as an idiot. Look at me now,
Yep.
Mhm.
right? Yeah, fundamentals don't. What the typical understanding of fundamentals does not extend itself to.
So it is, as you're right, to the future. It's looking. I'm going to
eh,
look at a 45 days old report and say, well, guess what? The company looked like this on this day, 45 days ago, and
mhm,
I'm no longer. I'm not going to consider whatever is happening right now.
exactly.
Within the next 30 days after today, or whatever are that 45 days that we're gone. Something happen.
Yeah, yeah.
How
Yeah. The,
how is that not relevant to the conversation? It's always, boy, the numbers say this, so if you look at it, look at the past numbers, look at the past numbers, look at the past numbers.
You
And
can't look at keys
It's
past
not just the
numbers.
yeah,
numbers.
if
Yeah,
you look around
not just not.
and let's go.
Yeah,
If you
exactly.
get
Yeah, you can't
you
look
look
at
at the
just the past
past numbers,
numbers.
you don't make that money.
Exactly. You wouldn't. There's no I cool
Exactly.
bump
That's like
before I cool.
that's like you saying, boy, you know it's that I'm newly seeing these IQ bottles on the ground every single where in Jamaica I've gone. In my week of traveling Jamaica, I've seen this IQ thing I never see last week when I travel Jamaica. And then you guys say that no, and then somebody guys said, "But look at the report, IQ not sell no, IQ never sell."
Exactly.
That don't make
Yeah,
sense.
exactly. You're not going to be able to see, and I'm not knocking the numbers. I hate that I
Oh,
have to say
definitely.
that, but I realize now that
Yeah, people
I
take it.
have to say it.
Yeah, for some reason, you saying, "Boy, it's not only numbers," means it's not
Get
numbers.
rid of the numbers. Yeah, it's like
No, but
anything I
it's
say
That's
true.
what we
seems
focus
to
on
hit
heavily.
people,
More than anything, well, not more than anything,
right?
but you get me. We spend a lot of time in the numbers. I'm
Yeah,
surprised
it's
myself
part
how
of
much I
the
can explain these companies.
right? It's part of the basis that we. It's part of the actual fundamentals that we use when
Yeah,
we're predicting what happens to a company. Shanice, Dan, I was just cutting you off. Sorry.
No,
You
I
were
was
speaking.
saying fundamentals on a whole is a very broad word. It doesn't just take in account the
Right.
numbers. It's what's happening in the environment of the company, what's happening in the
Mhm.
industry, what's happening in the economy. But when people
That's
Yeah.
talk
right.
about
In the market.
fundamentals, they really just look at quantitative analysis.
They open them
Yeah.
thing, put in some multiples, and say, "Yeah, man, I eat this. The company is worth this because that number said that." And there's nothing
Exactly.
you can't tell me otherwise until the next report come out
Yeah.
and then more talk change.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You're
I'll say it
you're always
plainly.
wrong until you're right. You know.
Exactly. I'll say it plainly. The industry for so long forgot that its job was to predict what companies will do and predict share prices,
That's
that there's an entire generation of people in the industry that does not know that that's what you're supposed to, and they look at the people who ask them to do that as strange. That's why
Exactly.
speculation is a bad word
uh,
in local investing, because there's an entire generation that didn't know that, yo, your job is to speculate. You're supposed to be able to tell me what is going to happen with this share price and this company in 3 months, next quarter, which is why they have quarterly reports.
it's always
Right.
And you
interesting.
can, yeah, and you can tell this because you look at every single other market around the world, and that's what their job is to do. Now, I'm not saying that everybody has to live there, but the industry has to live there. And in Jamaica, I think the local industry has done the equity market a disservice in terms of its bringing it to the clients, customers, regular man on the street, man and woman on the street, and having them understand all that it's worth. They've shown it. They've said the equity market is there, and we can help you in the long term. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't say that, but I think they literally just don't know. They don't know that they're supposed to be able to do that. Like the things that we're talking about, we should be able to sit down in our underpants or underwear. Sorry, ladies, or underwear at home, and come up with these things. And the people who are being paid in the offices aren't able to come up with it. And also speaking against people who do it. Yeah, that
Right.
should not happen.
Makes it
That
even
shouldn't happen
worse.
at all. Yeah, I don't. I know Dana was going to say something, but Shay, you're going to say something else.
Well, I was just agreeing with you and adding that I think a very clear sign that something is wrong is the fact that they tell the same things to people who, well, regardless of your risk appetite. That's a big thing.
Bro.
I'm like, so my risk appetite is ferocious. I have no dependents. I don't have a lot of responsibilities. So
Mm-hmm.
I can play, I can play. So why are you going to tell me about safe companies that are probably going to do a little thing in another 3 years? Or it's like, you're not supposed to be telling me about that. You're supposed to be telling me about what I can do since I have this risk appetite. What am I able to do? It can't be the same for everyone. You can't be telling everyone the same five companies.
I learned
Mm.
that they won't let every man have one play, so everybody in talk to get that one play.
Yep. Yo,
Hmm.
Sygnus, you have to understand their business model. Sygnus is they're into mezzanine financing, so
Yo,
they do the offer.
signal is so thing. No, anymore again.
It's such an
I
industry
can't stop
company
here.
now.
Say Sygnus is hard. Their business model is hard to understand. I can't. Them don't stop
Yeah.
telling me. So, yo, brother, if it's so hard
And
to
for
understand,
you,
and you're the guy who's supposed to know it, tell me no. Instead of telling me say it's
right.
hard to understand.
That was why Beris. That was why the CEO had to start doing them videos on IG explaining what Cygnus does.
Cause
Ah, boy.
the man them guy tell you, boy.
Yeah, I can't knock it. It seems when I did do that, when Sagicor Financial, it just, not financial, when Sagicor Select Funds, it
Fun.
just start. And I did the financial fund.
Uh,
And I wrote on every mickle explaining how I saw it and the overview and everything. The amount of people tell me I'm wrong. You know what of them stop talking to me now? And I don't know these people, so it's just on Twitter. And after a while, I started to say to them, we will see. And then I remember either a little after them list or a little before the list, Sagicor themselves had a note on JSC's website explaining what it is. Because I'm telling people, guys, it is not the typical fund. They are
yes.
not going to be buying and selling every month or every week trying to balance things. Once them get it, them want to just get it and leave it. yes, them can make some little decisions with the dividends and the cash and whatever, and them can make some decisions with the timing as to like, yo, let's not buy into this yet, or let's buy into this later on. And if you follow my little idiot value, pay attention to what they do for money thing, then you'll understand why they do some of those things. But at the end of the day, once someone them buy some shares, that's it. It put on. If it good, bad, or ugly, then they don't care. Which is a good point. Like I'll use that to segue into Select F because they released their numbers recently, right?
Yeah.
And it was not necessarily very pretty.
Mm.
It was a strong loss, I believe.
Yeah, man. 1.4 billion.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
All
ooh,
right. So
yeah. As,
to be honest,
If I find somebody, I got vibes from somebody's
thing there, their commentary on the fund type companies.
mm-hmm,
So like Select F, it was seen in a bad light because the numbers said this. But in my head, I look at the
oh,
actual index on the very last day of their reporting period. I look at the actual
mm-hmm,
index and I can say, boy, Select F will take a hit. But for some reason,
mm-hmm.
a passive fund is doing terribly, or because the index they follow is falling. What?
Yeah,
That makes
it
sense.
don't really make sense. It don't make sense, and
Like,
it's weird.
we know it's what happened. We saw the
Exactly.
stocks falling. So how is it how it becomes boy, you know, so the money me feel better.
Rubbish. There's no surprise. I mean,
And if you look at things, we call it again, QWI and
QWI, yeah,
MJ,
same
same
exact
thing.
thing.
like come on. As much as them aggressive thing, there's only so much you can only so much money you can move. If them leave a static tank. So
Exactly.
before they even done the exit, everything. So I have 100 million of X, and I exit
Mm-hmm.
20 million, and the price gone. That 80 million left, it's not 80 million no more. It looks terrible.
Exactly, because my 20 million tanked it.
Tanked it.
And on the flip side, that's why sometimes I have to stay stuck. Like I still maintain, I don't know John Jackson, I haven't spoken to him, so I can't say it. But I can't say it definitively. But I still think that Access was a terrible buy for them, and
Oh
we
yeah.
are seeing it. They're stuck with
Yeah.
Access. So Access still dropping.
Mm-hmm.
Access Financial share price still dropping because, as would be obvious to almost anybody who would have looked sensibly at it over the however long. I mean, Access year to date, Access started the year somewhere close to I think $34, $35,
Mm-hmm.
and currently it's at $23, and it not stop drop.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so and in these fund companies, you're actually better off than a regular company because with these fund companies, the NAV allows you to see how they are either
Long
as at
before.
yesterday or as at the week before. So it's like people are like, oh, you stop hype QWI when them do this loss. Like, bro, I know there was a loss coming for the last 2.5 months. The NAV has been so low that you know that they need to fix this within like a month or a couple of weeks, and they couldn't do it. 3 weeks before the quarter done, it's still not fixed.
And me
And for
coming
them
up
to
with
fix,
wait and report and say, man, them lose money. I'm like, but
we knew that they
they
lost money.
told us before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why you get in and out.
When you look at
45 days ago.
MJE, MJE is different in the type of trading they do because of the heavy
Hmm.
holdings, the SVL.
The
SVL
portfolio
falls,
companies.
exactly. Portfolio companies and SVL. So
Hmm.
if SVL fall by that amount, were you expecting anything different than boy that comprehensive income look different? Like, come on. Like you know
Right?
what's I don't think Mayberry has plans on selling SVL because of what SVL means a lot to MJE in terms of what the cash flow they get from it, the dividend income they get from it. So
Yeah,
I
strong.
said, boy, them should have sell out SVL. Was your idea they should have sold out SVL and then wait until they go back up or whatever thoughts you had in your head about it. No, let's have a whole lot sometime.
Yep.
Sell it to who, by the way?
I,
Exactly.
Exactly.
I think this guy named Randy was buying all of it. He has a lot of must be
I
the cheapest, the
wish.
most.
I wish I could just buy all of it and just leave it to go on hope. Yeah, but you can't do that. You just have to work with what's there. That's another example of a company where you have to look at what's valuable to the people actually owning it and what they're looking for.
Mm,
Because they may not be looking for what you're looking for.
exactly.
Yeah, it's that simple.
I
And
mean,
there's nothing wrong with that. It's just about aligning yourself to that time period or
SVL,
their time period
yep,
or moving out.
SVL is in SVL's share price movement is in Mayberry's comprehensive income, and they call it dividends in their proper income statement. So it's kind of telling what they think what SVL is there for them.
Exactly. That's indicative of somebody who is saying, yo, I'm in this for the long haul, but since you guys are here and we don't know how the fluctuations might work, you will always eat off the dividends and I will worry about it through the OCI.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you view the market or we view the market.
Runway from key.
Well, anyway, let me jump to another one.
So it's all a point saying from key.
Well, no, what kind of, but I kind of move on to the select F.
Okay, all right, cool. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, the
QWI
select
get one
Fs.
too. And
Yeah, and
MJD.
QWI did get. There we go. So we're rushing it. We're running it. Let me ask one of the ladies. I'll ask the top striker first. Shan, what's your latest? Which one of these results that came out recently do you really like?
Mail pack.
Mail pack. Okay.
Mail pack. It was impressive to me. Mail pack made more money this
Okay, I
quarter
get what you're saying. Yes.
than they did for their December quarter, which has Christmas,
Christmas.
Black Friday,
Yeah.
and we're having
Everything there.
COVID.
COVID, yes.
And hold on. And IPO.
Exactly.
Don't forget that. That was a quarter when they had the most advertising ever because
Yeah.
they were having an IPO.
For real.
And
Free
the,
advertising at that.
right, and as expected, the share the profit flew during that quarter up to
Yeah.
December, and now them just report them latest quarter. Let me just update with the numbers. Revenue for the first 3 months of 2020, 364.8 million versus 361.7.
In
Um,
December.
261.7 in December. I noticed that they compared it to December versus same period last year. But again, that's because technically Mealpack Group did not exist
Yeah.
last year, January to March. So they're
Actually,
comparing for now.
in 2019, that quarter it was 274 million.
Nice. What was the profit
The profit was 60 million
versus now
versus
101
102.
point?
Oh, you realize that
Yeah.
somebody's checking the numbers.
Right.
You know,
Right?
right here tell me, boy, I wish that thing there. I wish that they wouldn't do this, how we see that, right, brother?
Chinese, where you get the numbers from?
I saw it. Where did I see that? Hold on.
Prospectus.
No, it was an article. I see Insider.
I see instead of
Aha.
Where you get the numbers
Big
from?
up.
but the prospectus.
You would have gotten that from
you
the
know,
prospectus.
So
Yeah.
What
There
is
we
this?
go.
What is this craziness of why, they never really show with nothing? Now, come on.
Yeah, it's
Man,
right
them a
there.
wait for the spoon.
Information is
Man,
out
wait.
there now.
Exactly, and it's not hidden.
It's not
They're
hidden.
waiting for the spoon to be brought to their mouth, and so I have to open their mouth and put it in. Right? Yeah, industry is in a state.
I know the truth here too.
Oh my god! But big up IC Insider,
Big
big
up
up John
IC.
Jackson.
Yes, for
Yeah,
actually reading.
yeah, man. Boy, I have a lot of respect for the frustration that man must have felt over the decades
Brother.
because he's been doing this.
Man.
He's been doing this for a long time, and I know how frustrated I am. So imagine him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's more of a fundamentals guy, in air quotes, fundamentals. He's very much a fundamentals guy. He's very much an accountant, and yet still, well, the industry not like him, and him not really seem to business. But they can't stop paying attention to him.
Exactly.
Funny.
Only if they want to make money.
I know people that think they're really just to check his articles and then talk on him.
So I'm like, yo, brother.
Of course.
Like,
You can't ignore the man. That's levels. He's not checking your website.
That is true. I have sat in a room full of people, all of whom had less money than John Jackson, and listened to them denigrate him. And I was in that room, so I also have less money. And the whole of them put him down for him to know nothing about the market and then just talk, and at the end of the day, you got to check what he say. And if him, and I'll tell the truth, as I've said before, if something is wrong in a prospectus or if something is wrong in a set of financials, it's him catch it. And if him don't catch it, if one of him or David, if pass them two, it's done. Big up JC Knight too.
That's an defense.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, as I said, big up JC Knight too. You know, he corrected me the other day, that night, because one, he's been writing a lot of articles. I've been putting them up on Evermickle. Big him up for that. I
Yeah,
call it
man, those
David's
are some
Data.
pretty good
The data
articles.
done.
Yeah, quite the data done himself, and he has been putting up these articles with his research that he's been putting in. And I gave him some feedback the other day, and I can take it to heart because the latest one is about Palace.
Palace, yeah.
Mm.
And boy, I don't know about the first two; they're hard to read in my opinion. But this Palace one, boy, the man really, you can see him take it to heart and put it in. It started out so great. That alone, like the man say, yo, am I write him article and make sure I say it's sound good
Yeah, man.
and it engaging and it explaining things. It's just a start alone. The start alone, grab it. The man say, as movies tell a story for the viewer to decipher,
I saw that,
Palace
you know.
Amusement Company Limited has
Fast
been
and
the company
creative, which is right.
Yeah.
to tell
Love that stuff.
thousands of stories over a big screen. Yeah, man. Big
Yeah,
up
man.
David for that.
Come on, big up
Yeah, you
David.
know what's
It's
funny?
great.
So I'm doing a course right now, and it's a securities course, and
I'm afraid.
we got this question right, and it was like a forum, so you can see how everybody responds. And one of the students actually quoted one of David's articles from Every Mickle. I was like, look at
Well,
that.
Wow.
yeah, say.
Yeah, in an exam
JC never,
question, he was
That's
quoted.
clout, you
JC
know.
never,
That's clout.
them, them never, that boy, that is cloud. But JC never tell him them wrong immediately. I'm assuming it's a JC course you're doing. You hear me fasting and loading you up. I'm so sorry. It wasn't immediately struck down.
No, because she stated her reference.
Big up David.
Mhm.
Big up David. Keep it coming. But the reason I'd mentioned that was to say that David does spend a whole heap of time there, and he corrected me the other day because he said something that then you are blaming for this because you're supposed to catch me when I get these things wrong, and everybody know I don't know what I'm talking about. But David had told me that I have said that ECL is a dividend paying company and they're tax free when they pay the dividends because they're a St. Lucian company. But I believe he corrected me to say that they're actually a Jamaican company and they have a St. Lucian intermediary. So they do pay taxes on that. So I was incorrect. So thank you, David, for
Wait,
correcting
wait, wait,
me.
stop. Repeat that.
All right, let me read his exact message to me. He said, on minute 57 of earnings season, never tell me which episode, but on minute 57 of earnings season, you mentioned ECL as a dividend paying company whose dividends paid here are tax free for us. I think it means Jamaicans. ECL is a Jamaican company with a
But I
St.
never said that,
Lucian.
sir. Remember,
I
Jamaican
don't.
companies cannot be thing there, cannot be anything but Jamaican. So you have to be a Jamaican company, which is why the
There,
whole tax break agreement works.
there we go. And he followed it up by showing me a mandate, not a dividend mandate, but a dividend record receipt,
Mm-hmm.
and it has the tax on
Withholding
it.
tax, yeah.
Yeah, it has the withholding tax on
Ah,
it. So big him up for correcting me there. I don't know why I never stick in my head.
If you say it, I probably thought in my head I never said nothing for some reason. Sorry, sir.
Probably. Well, yeah, it happens. But that's just for anybody listening. So
Mm.
ECL is a Jamaican company, and the dividends are taxed.
Yep.
We have to come
Yeah,
correct.
So big up everybody who corrects us. Honestly,
yeah,
Helps us and it really helps us and it helps our listeners.
100%. Yeah, big him up for that. Uh yeah. So
this
I don't remember the point. Oh yeah. So Shan, I'm going
meal
back
pack.
to you.
Meal
Yeah, you were
pack.
talking about meal pack. Why you like them?
Yeah, man. So as I
The
said,
Christmas money.
revenues for the March quarter was outperformed the December quarter, which I thought was very impressive because we know December is a really busy quarter for them.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yep.
profits up, what's it, 71%.
Wait.
Damn.
Up how much?
It's up
Compared to the previous.
71%
Yeah.
compared to the previous quarter, compared to March quarter last year.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I'm
Yeah.
confused. I'm saying that must be
No, no,
different.
not December,
Oh
not
yeah, man,
December.
continue. Do you think?
Wow.
Yeah,
So
that was
compared
nice
to
to
it last
me.
year, oh, that's beautiful. So that's a junior market company showing doing what junior market companies do, which is why oftentimes, at least back in the past, pre-corona, they used to have high PE ratios because
Uh-huh.
people
Hmm.
were
Expecting
the
that
market
growth.
was exactly that super growth. And that super growth has come. for many of them. So we see them doing the same thing. But to beat their own Christmas quarter is a big,
You know,
big deal,
Corona times.
In a
Shit.
Right,
time we're going through economic crisis, they're beating their
right.
busiest quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
let me
nice.
play
Because of
devil.
the business lines, they have some level of resistance to the economic factors that are affecting us right now. Though.
True.
Meaning
It's
you're
a
talking
good
about
thing.
like
You can. This is
the
you investing
partnership that they have.
against. Yeah, exactly. This is you.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, man. Exactly that. So you see, this is your. If you find stuff like this, this is a way for you to invest against current against a current situation. So you know what,
Yeah.
boy, the whole most of the market is being affected by something, but something might be. We spoke about where we say, oh, some things might be better off, or might be seeing a boost in whatever business line from this. Then
Yeah, man.
Mailpack is one of those companies right now.
This was Mailpack's time to shine.
And Shine they did.
Yeah,
They did.
yeah. In everything but share price.
Exactly.
Right? Because year to date, they're actually, I mean, they're below. They're at $1. They closed today at
Mhm.
$1.85, and they started the year at 209.
Right before these results dropped, though, it was trading at, I think it closed at 169,
Yeah.
and then the next day it
Mm.
shot up to 180 something. I think
So
it
people
touched
jump back in.
196.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's so that might be a bit of short term interest coming from the market there,
Yeah.
but it still trades relatively heavy enough, a little less than a million traded today, and it's a lot of trades. I like that. 33 trades today,
Mhm.
and it generally trades pretty heavily.
It does.
It's a company that I know a lot of people have a lot of hope in.
Mm-hmm.
Hope a lot of hope in what it will do. And at 185, no, I still think that I don't know, it's in a great place. To me, I still think I personally I would not mind buying it at 185 for me personally. And that's a PE ratio of 14.5 times, right? Which means compared to the overall market, 14.5 times I think it's below market average. Last I remember, I think the market average was about 16.9 or 17 times.
That's a
I
figure
remember a bit.
I have in my head as well. 17.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they're below market and they're growing rapidly, and they have that partnership. The thing that I think a lot of people are expecting is that partnership with um,
Freshman.
PriceSmart, where you can get your groceries home delivered.
Man.
Yeah, so they're expected to, and they just launched. What did they launch? I don't. There's something that people are
Euros
complaining
are.
about.
Well,
There's something people are complaining about online, or they just started it. Something about the grocery delivery at home,
mm-hmm.
and people were complaining that it was going terribly. And then what I liked was the company's response,
Response,
which
yeah.
was pretty strong. Yeah, they hit all the people up, and I saw it from a lot of the same people who were complaining came back out and said, "Yo, they call me and they made things right, blah blah blah." So I like that.
You
It's
know,
a
find
new
that in Jamaica, you know.
at
Yeah.
all, at all, at all.
Stay
So that's
vexed.
Uncommon.
exactly it's just so it go. Yeah, you have a problem with it, so it go. Which is a typical Jamaican response, right?
So remember,
So it's no just no, just for the first, you see them talking about it. Which reminds me of JC. Sorry to beat up on a dead horse, but I just remembered that I had tweeted about the Sygnus thing with JC, and um, they responded to me on Twitter to say that they're aware of the problem and they are looking into it. So let me give them their props. They had said that on to me on Twitter when I complained, not on the website where everybody would see it, but if you follow me at RT Row, if you pay attention to my tweets, so you might see it. I had retweeted it. Shay, you're saying something. Shay and Phil.
Yeah, I was saying that, well, I wanted to say that the same thing that Chan was thinking, the same thing that I was thinking in terms of mail pack. And I actually did a top striker inspired move and got some at
yeah.
160 and some at 166 and sold at 195. So that
Nice.
was fun.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
Thank you for that.
over my
Wow.
And I still think it's a good company, and definitely I want those shares back, but waiting for the excitement to die down a little.
But suppose excitement don't die down.
Also,
Suppose I
what they
just
say,
keep
boy,
getting,
it is still Magan.
yeah,
When it's price run.
Attention span, I don't know. The attention span of the market, it can work in your favor, and I don't think a lot of people are playing because based on the numbers, people really should not have already like lost interest or whatever it is that's happening that's causing it to go back down now. But they have. I mean, COVID, I guess. I don't know. But,
yeah.
them do them thing, and I'll just do my thing.
Yeah. You can remember this, you have to remember say it's real people behind the market, yeah? So I like to talk about how I buy and sell to pay a light bill. And it's not because I buy and sell to pay a light bill or my rent or my rent. It's because I want people to know that that's possible.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's for everybody at all. As what I like is that I hear from the people who have done it, Shay and Shanice and Phil, the same thing that Dana and I have said all the time. It's doable. It's not easy, but it is simple. And if you're willing to put the time in and you have a temperament for it, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but so don't knock people who are selling too badly because you never know what they might do. Maybe them maybe somebody selling at 150, did buy it at one. As December them buy it, it's not that long ago,
I
not even
need the
6
money
months
now,
yet.
so guess what?
Yeah. 50%.
Yeah,
You
that's
take my
true.
last 100 grand.
That's true.
Yeah, imagine you take your last 100 grand and put in mail pack IPO and you sell it now when you need it in Corona time, something happen, and you sell it for 50% more than you bought it. Nothing wrong with that. Nobody can tell you nothing. You pay your bills plus you have something left. Yeah,
Exactly.
suppose I borrowed 100 grand.
All that too.
Yeah, yeah. So there's always that. Phil?
Yeah. So what I like about the mail pack results is that they the selling and distribution costs as well as administrative costs are significantly lower than they were in the last quarter, not not March, but in the
December
previous
quarter.
quarter, the
Why
December
you think?
quarter,
Why you think?
which means that there are efficiencies that they have achieved. They did say, well, they said that it had to do with staff costs,
Mm-hmm.
um, a reduction in staff costs. And in terms of
Yeah.
selling and distribution, I'm thinking that they have that perhaps has something to do with increasing the, for example, you putting your products on a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
You still have one vehicle, but you have a greater demand for products. So that one vehicle is carrying
Oh,
more products.
Exactly.
okay.
Sounds good
So
to
the
me.
same salesman with the same route, but maybe more customers now,
Uh-huh.
Right. And he's
which
being
often
paid
means,
by the hour. He's being paid same 8 hours, but he's
I
taking
remember
in
this.
more
There's an article,
people.
Mailpack Inc. from the Gleaner, April 1st, April Fool's Day. A Mailpack Inc.'s new delivery deal with Price Mart. I think all people. So when I saw this article come out, I read it. Um, Interesting to me because new delivery deal with Price Mart. I already know so them on Price Mart in cahoots before
Oh,
this. So if they're inking a new delivery deal, then there's something right now to say, oh, based on the situation right now, we're working on something. Look
Mm.
at the thing there. You look at. Hmm.
what's
Oh,
happening
no,
with
no, sorry.
price mark
Yeah,
for
yeah,
them.
man. So if what was happening thing there, when them again before, what you should be looking at is what was happening with them before and what's happening now
right.
with whatever
Mhm.
they're doing. If you look at the thing, what people's reaction to the article was, well, they already linked with Price Smart, so they were. It seems like I wouldn't say reaction to
Nothing
the
new.
article. They heard about it. I see people mention the article. They didn't post it or show people the article. They just mentioned that oh they have a deal with Price Smart, and so people's reaction was, "But they already have that long time." So to them it was, "Oh, there's nothing new here."
Whole news, right?
Yeah, but if you look
Mhm.
at the thing in the article, it said he added that since the pandemic, Mailpack's local client base has grown from 700 at the beginning of March to just over 2,000.
Yes, that's a major move in my lord.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And it's a
2,000
shift.
from 700,
Exactly. It's a
Mm.
big shift in your
100 and
we're
odd,
getting money.
almost,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, almost 200% growth.
Yeah.
So I think this article
Yeah.
is it's telling. Sure, you should give it a look. Should be in the show notes.
Yeah, it will be in the show notes. I just made note of it. And you know what stood out for me from that article, from people who can put these dots together? Let me put a little bit on the spoon. Um, they said that they noticed the time when you say it came out. That's April 1.
Yes.
Yeah, and they said there's one specific thing that stood out to me, which obviously no, definitely disappeared because I decided to find it, right? um, it is them saying, there we go. Over the past week, they have hired 30 new
Yes.
staff
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
added 5 new vehicles to the delivery fleet.
There
Yeah,
you
I was
go.
going to talk about
All
the
right.
addition to the fleet.
Yeah. And then notice
All
that
right.
thing there. Phil's mention of the thing there of what happened with the price, with the selling and distribution costs and the staff costs. So despite that increase in the staff complement and increase in the thing there in their fleet, they
Mhm.
had lower costs on that side. So
Hmm.
Which is
that's an
business.
efficiency right there.
Yep.
But I don't know if that's one to one, because he did say within the past week, and this came out
Yeah,
April
it could
1.
be
No,
the last
Yeah,
week
no
of
man, it's after the quarter close that they bought the extra vehicles.
hmm
Um, all right, but then you see, again, it's a Gleaner article, so I can't swear for what's said in it. But I can say the one quote that also like was, since the advent of Corona, we have seen an almost fourfold increase in our orders. And some of that has come from this enhanced relationship with PriceSmart,
hmm
right? So some coming from PriceSmart, some just coming from the road. And the man them have 4 new vehicles and 30 new staff. That sound like a new business line, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
Yeah,
Hmm.
they go greater. If you want to go down a pipe dream with me, when Amazon is entering an area, they don't just enter it. They don't just say, "Oh, we're here," and they build a warehouse. What they often do is they
Dominate.
acquire. No, they often acquire existing players and then build them out. Right. So we buy you, if you have a distribution network here, we come in, we buy your company, assuming that you're open to selling it, and then we turn your company into Price Smart. Now that's a pipe dream. I have no evidence for that outside of my, I guess if we're in America, I have to give disclosures. I would have to say that I have worked for Amazon in the past, and I have done work for um, the Norbrook Equity Group in the past, but not specific to Mailpack. But yeah, it's just me looking on two things that I say, yo, this one match the other, and a whole heap of other dreams in my head, and that's that I've connected. So yeah, yo, if you want to buy in the long term, you go and ask your licensed investment advisor about the long term impact of Mailpack, and they're all saying the same thing. Mailpack is great. It's the Amazon of Jamaica. Blah
funny,
blah blah.
that's hilarious to me. But based on what you just said, I mean, like is Amazon or Jamaica, and I don't think they're saying it in the right way. So what I hear them
Yeah.
saying doesn't match up to what's in my head.
What's in your head? Tell us.
Look, the full Amazon. I think we've spoken about this before. Everybody that making them, everybody said, "Well, I'm gonna make a Jamaican Amazon," so they get a website, and then that's where it starts. They
All of
get
us.
a website and say, "We're gonna order this for you," and then very often it becomes type of a mail pack thing where you or a ship me type thing. I can order things from Amazon and bring it to Jamaica. It doesn't actually become an actual network because
Yeah.
One of the
Logistic.
strongest parts of Amazon is the actual distribution network.
Yep.
We
Their
need to get
ability to get
exactly. I need to get
to
this from
everybody's
you,
house.
from here so to here so as quickly as possible. So it feels like my business a convenience versus going to
Yes.
the supermarket or going to that store. Which is why anybody did quote unquote death of retail because Amazon. That's why, because it's just as effective as retail to other people.
Yeah.
People
Ah,
leave it at boy, I can order things online. There's no vision of boy, I need to step a distribution network that's effective across the island. Until you come with
exactly.
that, then boy, you're not really going there with much.
Yeah. Matter of fact, whoever solves the local distribution conundrum is going to make a lot of money. And
Yep.
the evidence for that, other than my own personal experience with distribution locally, is that those who are good at it are the best. Carreras has in-house distribution, strong as hell. I
It's
think Red Stripe
cool.
used to do the same thing, strong as hell. And of course, the market leader with Wisynco.
Wisynco.
We heard on last episode, big up Lion, Manish Water. He pointed out, what was it that night? 17,000, I think?
Yeah.
Or yeah, 17,000 contact points.
Yeah.
It just isn't that no.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's true. Phil.
Yeah, man. He said that. He said that
Yeah, so
17,000 contracts
and
going through the island.
yeah, man, and them have it mapped down. I don't know if Wisynco have it down to the GPS, but I think they would.
Hmm.
I yeah, yeah, at Carreras, I know that we had that, and that is public information. I don't even know if I still under any contract with Carreras, so I can speak freely, but I always pause just to be careful. But yeah, they do have the same thing, and I don't believe Carreras was as effective as Wisynco, or if we were at the time, Wisynco was neck and neck. So the logistics is the wave of the future. All right,
Exactly. It's funny
it's
tapping
not
into
Seriously.
Wisynco distribution network could be, I think there could be a type of thing for an Amazon like company or an Amazon company in Jamaica saying, boy, we need a distribution network.
exactly,
Tap into that guy. Like
exactly.
the fact that we have this laid out just makes sense.
And since I've mentioned Wisynco
Oh,
so
awesome.
much, I'll just run into them because they're yeah, I will run into it because they're one of the companies that also release their numbers. And they released their numbers on the 8th. Uh
Oh yes.
yeah, and they came out with well two elements for me, right? Because Wisynco allowed us to know what's going on in Panjam, which was partner Panjam, JP. I don't know
JP.
why I always making that mistake.
Mhm.
I always making that mistake in JP, Jamaica Producers. And we did see, however, in Wisynco a drop in profit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Net profit actually fell
Mhm.
from 693 for the quarter, 693.9 million for the quarter
Mhm.
last year. And in the same quarter this year is 580.2. Um, and for that giant to drop, we know it is. And they were very clear in what they said it was. And it was, they said it was the coronavirus impact,
Mhm.
the
Only
increased
one of the companies that
increased
can actually claim that.
yes, yes, because they're an FMCG, fast moving consumer group. So for them, we used the example before on this show. Is I use the example of cigarettes. If somebody smoke 3 cigarettes a day and today they never manage to smoke three, they only smoke one,
It's
they're not going to smoke five
like I
tomorrow
said,
to make it
boy, I mean, you drink 2 water tomorrow, come only drink 1 water today. Unless you're on that type of
eggs,
diet. And that's not
right?
and that's not the case across the board. And then remember also their biggest thing there, their biggest what you call it again? Customers have been out
Hmm.
of business. So on
Closed.
schools
Yeah.
closed.
Hotels.
Every hotel, if you go all inclusive hotel, you know what that mini fridge looks like.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
with
some.
it's with
Those
Synco
little
products.
mini with
With it,
water bottle.
exactly. Mini water bottle, that mini Coke, that mini Sprite,
Hmm.
that's with
Yep.
Synco.
Hmm. They
Exactly.
also have, I believe, some Wisynco products on. I could be wrong, but on Caribbean Airlines, I think they do have some.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And so obviously with the slowdown in air travel, that might have impacted them.
Yep. So to get this number, to only get a 20 mil difference, 20 mil, yes, a 20 mil
Hmm.
difference between now and not 20, not 20. What was it?
Mm.
Hold on, scroll it properly.
Well, revenues went up 23%.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, but profit, um,
Yeah, profit was
profit,
profit was down by
Profit
okay.
was 110 mil.
Yeah,
113 mil.
mm-hmm.
hmm
Yeah.
and they say on an earnings per share basis, that's 19 cents last year versus 15 cents this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So them drop 20, or 21, 22 and a
21%.
half. Yeah, 21.5% down, percentage points down. For Wisconsin, that's a big deal,
Yeah.
right? But
But
to me, that's also a good idea of what it is that they were capable of doing, because they actually listed it in the management discussion and analysis where they said tourism, like you said, Danai. But one major thing that we don't talk about is all other events, entertainment. Every bar lock,
yeah,
Yeah.
every
That's
bar
right.
locks,
For
no
real.
sports going on, entertainment activity not going on.
Carnival not
Um,
happening.
I never go on.
can
But I was
they
asking this
miss?
time.
All right, yo, the man they missed Carnival and only dropped by 20%, and revenue went up.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was surprised. I
Yeah.
expected it to be worse.
For revenue?
Yes.
Yeah, the revenues and the profits. As
No,
much as every time I go supermarket, there's literally no water. You can see every other water company. You see some Catherine Peak, might see some Lifespan. Water,
Hmm.
people them rush it.
It's the reach, man.
So
The
that
reach
was
and
an
the push.
indication to me of how much of the market we think could actually capture.
Oh yeah, man, Trump time.
Monday. But thing there, anyway, again, why I never believe revenue would have fallen below last quarter, below supply, was big. Is
Mhm.
because of thing there. If you look
Same period
same
last
period
year.
last
Hold
year,
on. Somebody's about to DM me. Sply, same period last year, which means the same quarter under review,
yeah.
guys. Just for the newbies. Anyway.
If you look at thing there, if you look at the quarters before this one, you can see where the bump in
Hmm.
revenue actually came from. So they had new businesses online. You must them link up with JP and so they start selling
JP.
them more. So
Yeah.
this type of thing, they had a that $2 billion bump in revenue was
Hmm.
happening across the board for them for thing there. So I wouldn't expect it to fall below the same period last year in this report.
Uh, and the revenue going up is just for, I mean, for us, it would have been expected
So
because we didn't
them the sugar now, them the thing there, the rum now, and them the thing there now, and them the JP things now. So that
Yeah.
revenue
JP snacks.
JP snacks. So I was not convinced that they will be terrible on revenue wise.
And they had built out a Western warehouse, wasn't it? When I can't remember when that was.
What do you mean? I'm not
In,
sure when that was either, but like distribution wise, these guys have it.
yeah.
And do remember that this would have included their stopping of styrofoam.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Corona just completely make us forget. Say at the start of this year, 2020,
That was the talk.
styrofoam was just completely
Yep.
stopped, right? Yeah, and that used to be a 367 or $368 million business for them
Uh-huh.
in terms of last quarter. It was $1 billion business for them up to last year. So $1 billion business line gone, and the man them just keep going, keep
Chugging.
trucking.
Yep.
You cannot knock the power of Wisynco there. Yeah, hear me out. Wisynco might actually be the Amazon of Jamaica.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thing there, in my again, I was looking at there's a company being started by I think William Mahfoud's son. They we have spoken about this earlier. I think one of the Ryan episodes. He
Mm-hmm.
was a small shop. He wanted to build out in other Caribbean countries. Yeah, a little shop type thing. You can go in and get a quick food.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look,
Like a cook shop.
yes and no. So you can get you
Circle
look
K.
in there. You saw snacks. We think of snacks. There's a lot of we think of items that were in there.
Them
So
Circle K.
must.
to me,
Circle K, I
yes,
think.
that yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, to me, that was a next move a next move that will assist Wisynco in selling, and since they're going to other Caribbean countries, that to me that was a herald of touching the market with more Wisynco products. So a heavy export line will be coming in for them. Because they're not really start export yet. So
Mm-mm.
I was waiting on that to see where that would go, because it was basically water. So they got to Trinidad and water in Trinidad in those little stores, and they start say water going to Trinidad more, where you water into a markets there, that type of thing, exporting on a full scale. So Corona, I think Corona might have put that on the strain. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
a disappointment for me from Corona for
Yeah.
Wisynco.
I usually let
Pretty
me let go
much.
one of the gems them. Let me let go one of the gems them. All right. Wisynco don't get things wrong, and Wisynco makes their money off distribution, right?
Mm.
So like this, like Wisynco distributes, as far as I know, unless it's changed recently, for Creamy,
Mm-hmm.
completely different company, but Wisynco is who handles their distribution. And Phil made a point earlier of, you have the truck, you fill the truck up, the same truck
Yes.
go in the same place, but now I'm putting more things in there. So
Mm-hmm.
for the distributor, if they manage their spend right, that can also mean a great increase in value.
Mm-hmm.
JP Snacks that they bought into, JP Snacks, it distributes in Jamaica, but what they also do is distribute to other brands. For this is the gems that I don't usually talk about publicly. It, Caribbean, US, Canada, UK, Central America. If you go back and connect the dots, we hear William Food saying very clearly that they're turning their sights onto export now.
Yep.
Then they buy 30% of a company that exports heavily throughout the UK, Canada, US, Central America, right?
It does make sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Even Turks and
If this guy already, yeah, if and Turks, tell us, Phil, because if you see it on the ground, you see it on the ground.
yeah,
So
man.
if somebody is good at making their money off distribution and they know how to let me get there first and start going there repeatedly, and then when I start going there repeatedly, after I start going there repeatedly, I will bring other things there, and we hear them buying into something that bring them to this many markets. How long you think before the man them find something?
Exactly.
Right? I saw a tweet today talking about I want to remember the name. It's a coconut water.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man.
You saw it?
Janut.
Yeah. We were talking about
J.A.
it in
Not.
our group as well.
Yeah.
J.A.
Yana,
Not.
that's the name of it.
J.A. Not or Janut.
Janot, I think.
Jano. Uh wow. Wow.
Impressive
Strong name.
packaging.
Impressive pack. Oh, because the picture of it, I'm gonna look for
Yeah,
the
man.
the tweet and see if I can throw it.
The box
See if I
look
can
like
throw it.
coconut water.
Yeah, man. Who
As
was
I
it that
said,
said they come in for Grace markets abroad?
yeah. I think it was me or Soti.
Yeah.
Pick up Mayor
Ah,
I
Sophie.
big
wonder
up,
how those taste. I wonder how it tastes.
big up me so there. What's that? The Janot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But I mean, you
um,
can convince anybody of what Jamaican coconut look like. Tastes like abroad, I imagine.
yeah, and if you're a Jamaican overseas, you immediately trust. I mean, there's a level of trust that you have for Wisynco that you might not have for
Yeah.
for
Somebody else. Yeah.
anybody else. Yeah, I was trying to name that one company so I could type back a couple of episodes later with the Spanish one. The name escapes me though.
Oh, but yeah. It's the same
Yeah,
point you have with the Jamaica brothers being abroad.
yes.
They can
And
get,
funny
they can
enough,
get breakfast chicken abroad.
touching on Jamaica Brothers, they're the ones who said with the recent results where they had a heavy hit also. One of the company principals is quoted as saying, "Thank God for our overseas sales. So the US sales are saving them because
Yes.
Jamaica and Haiti beating them so badly,
Uh-huh.
right? As it has been beating them for a while."
Yeah. And boy,
Yeah,
Haiti.
boy, yeah, we touch a whole heap of companies there. So I asked Shanice for her company. Phil, I did ask you your company,
No, not yet. What I
So
found
Haiti, I
interesting.
did it up.
right?
Yeah,
Well,
The
tell
people
which
are
one you like.
crashing in the background. What going shit?
man. The results I like was 138.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
they
138
got dust on
student
I saw a
living.
picture of 1 tree. So somebody, one of activist people, 1 3 is a picture of 138 student living, 270 million in profit, and the person said, "Oh,
Yeah,
question mark."
exactly.
Chin emoji. And
Yeah.
I was up to shake my head. 'Cause I know that though. And I see Ryan quote he commented and said, "Yep, and a large receivable from a certain institution, probably close to 200 million by now, if not more."
So in my head, around saying it, in a good way. It's like,
Boy, company doing well. And somebody commented, and they still not refunding the students' deposit.
Hmm.
well, funny enough, what I said, say, you have a 200 million receivable. Where were you funding it from? They're going to say, okay, you always know, not me.
Ah,
You
yeah,
cannot
right. You
have the
can't have your cake
all
and
the money
eat
I
it.
can't get back. So,
Yeah,
and third,
yeah,
The 70
cannot.
million is you can look at it, you can look at their numbers to see how much 70 million will do for them.
Wow,
Yeah, so
wow.
if
It's very important.
it's very interesting, again, an educated opinion on companies versus, boy, I feel this way about it. But yes, Phil, you
An
Yeah,
were saying,
emotional reaction. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, the thing that the expectation for 138 this year is showing up in these results. The whole of last year, essentially, they were operating at, they were putting up losses. So, with what they're doing this year with the settlement of the agreement with
Mm-hmm.
UWI,
Mm-hmm.
and getting the variation claims related to Irving Hall, you're comparing against a loss, um, for each quarter. and they increased the revenue from 211 million to 278 million,
Mm.
and the profit went from 95 million last year, so that there actually was a profit in that period, but it's 887, sorry, 95,000.
Mm-hmm.
95,000 for the quarter ending March last year to 87.3 million this year. And
They had a
comparing
profit
six
last year,
months,
Phil?
they had a small profit in the 3 months,
Yes,
but
sir.
for the 6 months for the
I'm
six
looking
months it
at
was a lot.
March 2019, 30, and I'm seeing a net loss of 45 million.
Sorry, say that again, Dana. You looking at what? Was a
You're
date?
That's the
March
6 months.
2019. No man, you're the nine you're getting the taxation number in the thing there in the 6 months, 20 the 3 months 2019, there were net loss of $45 million.
Hmm.
Mm,
And now they're profitable, 87 mil.
Yeah, now they're profitable at 87 mil.
quite profitable. I think, yeah, for me personally, I think there might be some value to be found in that, in ventilating what that agreement between them and UE is, and whether or not things are still good post court. Because we understood what it was at the prospectus time, and we've been singing on it for the years that they've been listed. And I think that what happened is that the very first time that UE actually had to pay it, again, I don't know at all. I just talking off the top of my head here. I think somebody going right. What do you mean by we have to guarantee them 90%? That don't make sense. And of course, it's what you're supposed to do in developed markets, developed financial markets, which is you sue. I don't think I should pay this. I don't think I should have to pay it. So I'm going to sue. Make the lawyers work it out. And so the lawyers have obviously worked something out, and whatever it was, it seemed to be like everything good, everybody happy now. They're back at the table. And in the last set of results, I see they reference that actually.
Right.
But I heard them speak about the fact that they had up to March 31st, I think 99%.
Correct.
Am I imagining that? I'm speaking off the top of my head here.
No, it's
No,
there. It's in the
Occupancy.
MD&A.
Yeah.
was number 99?
99% is what I remember, but I could be wrong. You have it in front of you,
Average,
Phil?
yeah, man. Average occupancy across all three halls for the quarter was 99%.
Which means you will never have to dig in the pockets for the more than X to reach at 90%.
Right.
Aha.
But the
So you is
industry is
safe.
However,
oh,
Continue,
on
Phil,
the
sorry.
next page,
Hmm.
they did speak about the 90% occupancy guarantee,
mm,
in saying that the turn of events with the coronavirus um will no doubt affect the revenue of the business. However, the impact of the long-term occupancy revenue is mitigated somewhat by the concession agreement, which provides a 90% occupancy guarantee.
Yeah, straight up. Which is me them saying, yo, don't
Phil,
worry,
show
we're
me that.
not let it out. That's it's literally on the next page of the March of the latest results, which I just sent you a link to it.
Have it open.
But literally in the MDNA
Yeah, page
up
2,
top. Yeah.
The first
Or
thing.
if you're looking on the actual PDF, you're looking on the one that says page 2, but it's
it's
actually
page 4, I
page
mean.
4
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not
in the PDF.
searchable. Page 2 is not searchable. That's what
Yeah, it's a picture. Yeah, the usual thing. Send a PDF of a scan of a picture.
Well, the first
Um,
page you can read it. The second page you can't scan it. Okay, you can't.
which
That's
is
it.
which might also tell you something else, yeah?
Yeah. Which
Yeah, it might tell you something changed.
uh-huh. That's
Yeah.
Ah,
interesting to me because you're
Yeah.
about.
But that's an assumption. That's an
Yeah,
assumption on
yeah.
my
I
part.
want to know if it actually changed. Because I remember our conversation around this last time. We didn't. I feel like we didn't. We were looking for will this
We were worried that,
that yeah, we were worried
yeah,
with the 90 will the
maybe
90%
a
kick in.
force
So
majeure,
Phil,
yeah.
yeah. So
yeah.
Phil is no. So Phil, what you're saying right now is that the 90% will work out for us.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Read the exact line, please.
Yeah,
He
man.
did.
Sorry. Ah.
So all right. So the pandemic has resulted in students being asked to vacate the house of residence resulting in our occupancy being reduced to 25% in April. These turn of events will no doubt impact the revenue of the business. However, the impact on the long-term occupancy revenue is mitigated somewhat by the concession agreement, which provides a 90% occupancy guarantee. So they actually admit that after the quarter, they have had a fall in occupancy, a big fall in occupancy to 25%, but they're good.
Yeah,
I
but
wonder
you
though,
know,
because it says a long-term occupancy revenue.
yeah,
So will
exactly. The
that,
wording,
and the fact that they mentioned that it's being reduced to 25, these turn events will no doubt impact the revenue of the. So is it that
Mm.
is it will the impact be the 9% of not having 99% anymore, or is it that they're saying the long-term occupancy revenue will be is very different? It's different the,
From the
from
quarterly
what we're
revenue.
looking at. So are we actually getting a 90% in the next quarter? So I'm wondering.
Yeah.
well, we don't know, but going
Based
off
on
the
that wording.
prospectus, based on the prospectus, it said that, and I'm quoting from the prospectus here. Under the concession agreement, UE has guaranteed 90% occupancy of the constructed units in any 51-week period for as long as the concession agreement is in place, which is contemplated to be a minimum of 30 years and a maximum of 65 years.
Oh,
Right?
51 weeks, which is, huh.
The,
So,
the, the wording is still iffy to me.
no, man, so
Has guaranteed 90% occupancy of
exactly.
the constructed units in any. Oh, yeah, no, that's straight up.
51 weeks is 1 year. So what I'm
Yep.
thinking is that you will have, they build a receivable line. So basically, whenever, so if they make 25% occupancy for everything there, every quarter for the year, or whatever, every period of the year, for the whole year, they have 25% occupancy. Then UE comes in at the end of the 52
And
weeks and say, okay, 51 weeks and say, all right, for this period, we're supposed to, for this period, we just come back and give you about the 90% worth. So which is I think the long term, which is like long term is a talk. So basically, if next quarter they have 25% across the board for the next quarter, then they will only
which is this quarter that
this
we're
quarter
actually
coming.
in,
So we only see 20. We only be seeing the thing there, the 25% in that quarter. But at the end of the year, you get step in and say, okay, you were supposed to get. You're supposed we're going to fulfill our guarantee and give you the 90% difference up to 90%.
which would be
But so you
65%
have
in
the
your
one big payment
example.
basically.
I don't know if it's one big payment. It might be quarterly. We don't know. I don't know
Down
the
payment terms, but
breakdown terms of
basically,
that. Yeah.
yeah, but basically they're due a certain amount for due is the bill you is due comes in kicks in at that point, which is
Right.
they review it in 51 weeks at a time. That's what I'm thinking. So it might work out for the yeah, it sounds good to me.
Mm.
But yeah, there is still some ambiguity about the wording, and if something changed, I don't know.
But even if you work it that way, 'cause I think if we cross-reference Rand's tweet, and if you look at the actual results,
Results, yes,
yeah, because that's why he said,
200
the
mil
receivable,
receivable. So that might be the receivable line because you is due thing there, due to pay them, and which you remember have the claims right now. So how much is the claim? The total claim total claim incurred come right now come to because if you have a 200 mil receivable line from them, and then they have more than 200 mil claim, that might be where the claim comes from. That might be where the thing comes from.
yeah. So we'll see what the receivables looks like at the end of next quarter, which would come out. Um, is this their first? This is what, the
This is
last quarter,
Hmm.
this
The
is the
third,
6 month. This is
the third quarter.
this is
No,
as
hold
in
on,
what would be
hold
the
on.
third
Sorry.
quarter,
This is second quarter.
The
this is
second
second
quarter.
Second
Second
quarter
quarter.
quarter.
results we're looking at.
We do. Yeah.
March is our second quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we would get the next ones early. So April, May, June, I would get them by August 15th, middle
August,
of
yeah.
August.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that earning season, we will know how
Learn
they're,
how certain things work.
yeah, or if or if a lawsuit, if a lawsuit happened before then. But I hope not for the lawsuit.
Yeah, same.
I hope that things are worked
Yeah,
out.
man. Everything gone
Uh,
good.
but this is a kind of real estate that I can get behind.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow, yeah. And the 138 SL point, I know I never brought in Shay, but I will bring her in now for her to tell us what her company is. Or did I ask her already? Am I going? Am I getting?
No, you didn't. You didn't ask.
Okay. Uh,
Well, first of all, I also like 138. I think the next statements, the next set of statements will be important in how people feel about the company. Um,
mm,
yeah, it will. Because, yes, they're going to get this money, but are they going to get this money on time? I don't know about that. I do think they're
ah.
going to get the money, so that I'm not worried about that. I think they're going to get the money. There's another part of the prospectus that I read, because when I read that part that you read, I got what
Mhm.
you got, where it was just, I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. What does this really mean? But there's another part where they go into saying, something like the income 90%. So it's not 90% occupancy that that's not where it ends. It's more of whatever you would make if there were 90%. If there was 90% occupancy, we're going to make sure you get it. Basically,
Yeah,
that's
man.
kind of what it said. So
Yeah.
there's another part that says something like that. I don't remember the exact words, but um, that's kind of what it said. Um,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I think we worded it improperly. For when we said 90% guarantee, yeah. So we're not saying you is guaranteeing them that they have 90% of they fill the hall is 90%. They're
mm-hmm.
guaranteeing the money as if they fill 90%. I think we're talking
Right,
as if
right,
people
right.
understand what we're saying. So good point there.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's
That
that.
that's the key point. Yeah. It's not about the people. It's about the
It's about the
money.
money. So basically, if you have
Yeah.
25% occupancy, you go and say, all right, we're going to always treat you as if you have 90% occupancy. You go to our pocket or the student's pocket.
Right. So there's that. My favorite one this season is not because of how the price is moving or anything like that, but it's because of when I chose it. Because I chose it when I wasn't very experienced. So I chose it like last year, this time, or somewhere here, and it was separate that I chose. And
Mhm.
I chose it because they were about to get rid of that sugar arm. I remember saying something like, "Well, if you're right on offense, you chop it off," or something like that. Um,
Ah,
so, so
I got a biblical on them.
it'll work out,
Go through.
So I was like, "Yo,
Go through, Sister Shay.
if they're making money over here and they're chopping off that part that's bleeding them their money, then it's gonna be something good, right?" I
Mhm.
also looked at the acquisitions and their plant thing over there, and I was like, okay, I like this. So it was basically just reading news, and it was reading news from maybe a year back and just coming all the way up to last year this time, and that's why I chose them. And I saw the results, and I was like, what? I did it. It was kind of that's what it was about, and it wasn't about just the numbers. So it was
Mhm.
about I chose this based on my little reading of news, and I think that was cool. So that's why they're my favorite right now. But I do think
Yeah.
that they have they have good things coming for them.
Well, they just reported their numbers, so
Hmm.
you have them up in front of you.
Yeah, let's see what they're looking like. Yeah, so 3 months ended March. I don't have the percentages, but it looks like they
No,
doubled
tell me the
their.
numbers and we'll help you.
Yes, go
Tell
ahead.
me the numbers and we'll help you, man. So, no, as in, just tell us the numbers and I'll help you.
All
Sorry, I'm
right.
just trying to load it myself.
Operating profit. Which one do you want?
Re-
Let's
with,
let's
Revenue.
go
let's keep
net
it simple.
profit. Net
Revenue, then
profit.
profit. Yeah.
Last year it was 311 million, and then this year it was 632. So there's that.
Ooh.
So I'm looking at that and I'm like, this is the first quarter, I guess, where they're not dealing with that humongous loss from the sugar arm, and it's looking like this. So what about when they kind of balance out and really find footing?
Wow. Um, not just all right. The sugar arm is a thing that people have been talking about for a long time.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
Anybody want to speak on that?
Speak on it. Say what has been said already.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
there's
guess.
nothing else
Been,
to say on the sugar arm.
yeah, sugar been terrible for separate. They did some heavy losses from it. They just couldn't think there. They tried their best, honestly. They've been having it for a while, and I honestly got the sense, as Randy said more than many times over on this podcast, that they really, it seemed like they really wanted to keep it.
Yeah.
When they started
Yeah.
talking about it in a certain line, that in a certain light, that's when
Mhm.
you could see the change of, boy, we're working with the sugar thing, we're working, we're trying to bring it profitability to, boy, the sugar beat with stills.
Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Pandoy spoke about it where he's pretty much saying that he was pretty much saying that he wanted to try it, they really tried with it, and then they just realized how to close it, and then they're asking the government to help them
yeah,
to close it the right way and to make it a way that it won't impact the company too badly, because they're trying to have the impact of the company be minimal so that they can keep helping the people associated with it,
hmm,
and move it around for other projects. And I realized that recently, I don't want to guess, but recently he tweeted something about it being done.
sugar.
I mean, there's a
Yeah.
big tweet like it's done. I think that was probably
Yeah.
the title, something like that.
I
Oh,
know
yeah.
thing there was a time when they were trying to work with the government or trying so the first, I think the first ask of the government was, hey, you need to make this more efficient for us. I need to find a way so that sugar is more efficient in Jamaica so we can sell better. And I think it has to do
Mm.
with, what was it? Eh, I think it was some
What
price on overseas sugar, something like that. I'll find it and share it. But there was
I
something they're
think
trying to do. And Randy,
no, I think it has something to do with some sort of protections that they were
protection.
looking
They
for.
wanted some protection of the industry
Yes.
from the government, and then they were
Yes.
asking if they could at least consolidate the losses into the group and get the tax benefit across the group from just a sugar company. And I don't think that was they were government was forthcoming on that. So basically, the sugar was getting a loss, and they wanted the tax credits from the sugar to go up into the group so that they could report tax credits and get tax write offs in the larger group from the losses in the sugar, which would make sugar basically more efficient. It would make the group itself more efficient. I'm not sure where that went. And then the last I heard of sugar was, all right, so we're done with it, we're closing it out. And that there was something with the government. I think Micah would come into this because it had to do with coconut, where the repurposing of the sugar lands into planting
Hmm.
coconuts. I remember one of Sepra's largest shareholders is Coconut Industry Board. So I think that's where the synergy was
Yes,
formed.
that's true.
Make it,
Which is government.
which is
Yeah.
government. So
Yeah.
they basically found a way to make things work out
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Jamaica
I
at
think there's
least.
something about wanting to move some
Yes.
value
So the
around the
value,
group.
yeah, man. I remember the value around the group. You mean the tax write-off
Yes.
thing? And there was a next thing.
Mm.
You know, they wanted to partner with the government on how the coconut itself, the coconuts reaped from the sugar land, how it will be sold,
Mhm.
because there was thing there. They were looking for products, so coconut products from whatever the government does with with that land. So like coconut water, likely coconut milk, something like that. Separate will be pushing coconut products from the thing there, from that. I'll try to find the article and so, but the report that was the last I heard of what was happening with the sugar lands. I know it impacted the company. We moved this loss off our books, this loss making entity. Um,
Mhm.
they took some heavy losses again from that type of thing, from the closing down, because they still have the thing put on there, and they have the website again. The workers have to get paid off and everything there. So we still
Yeah. I know what you did. They
redundancy
made
there,
some
man.
heavy
Heavy
payments,
payment, trust me.
but
Even
they
that
wanted
costed.
some write-offs. Yeah, they wanted some write-offs,
Yeah.
and I believe the actual thing was the article, the Gleaner article I'm reading, where he says that sugar is done finally, and this
Right.
came out May 13th.
Mhm.
And he spoke clearly. He said that we still have the factory and we still have cane in the fields, but PwC, which is PricewaterhouseCoopers, is managing the divestment of the factory.
Mhm.
So there might be an opportunity to still make a little bit more money from it, but in terms of the wind up and all of that, it seems that they're closer to done. I won't go too deep into that. It'd be great if maybe we'll start having some single company episodes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
just pick one thing and go into, because I know these can go long, and we have been going pretty long here. So who have I not asked about their company yet? So Shay gave us
You got everybody
separate.
then.
Yeah, you sure? Well, no, Danai
Don't
and
I?
me.
And you?
Sorry,
What
I
is
was pressure
again?
Danai. I'll do myself first, and then I can talk later on. My company I like currently, like the latest set of earnings that have excited me. Yo, let me say it. I create, my God.
Yes, yes, yes.
I create. Big up Tyrone, the man find some profit.
Love it,
Congrats
love
to
it, love it.
iCrate.
All of a sudden, everybody stop talk. All of a sudden, it's not a failing, terrible company. But Tyrone found it. Like like Manish Water said on the last episode, never count out a
True.
CEO, a founding CEO, a true founding CEO. Never count them out. No, this isn't me blowing the I create trumpet there, because I still think that they have a little bit, not a little bit, a lot of
They
a
got
challenge
work,
ahead
you
of them.
man. They need to work. They
Need
need
to work on it some more. But we
Heavy,
see where work has been put in.
Yeah.
at least.
yeah, and we've seen a COVID strategy come out, and we've seen probably one of the few companies that have actively moved towards their COVID strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Meaning the business, I hesitate to call it a true pivot, but it has pivoted quite a bit, and it has pivoted towards online, towards training a new business line. I don't want to go too deep into it. I hope and see if
We were saying thing there. We were saying it's from inception that boy the online thing look like the way to go.
yeah, it should have been the way to go for them. So I think they're going that way now with training and so on. And that is a field that is heating up. I'm really happy to see that. I'm hoping to be able to get Tyrone on an episode. So
Mm-hmm.
we will see if we can get that done or not. But we're looking on 24.5 million in revenue, um, with a net profit of for the quarter of $1.25 million, right? And that's a small number when we talk about other companies, but for iCreate, that's a big deal because one, it's a profit, and two, it's being compared to the same period last year of 1.5, roughly 1.5 million in losses. So he has managed to turn it around in the middle of Corona, and let's hope that this sticks, right? I won't go too deep into it, but he has spoken about partnering with different agencies and different industries, and how that partnership has started to play out. And I'm hoping that more of this will come out. So I like I create, but my real company that I'm excited about is I won't go drum roll, but but I am trying to wait for JC's website to load. So if you'll give me a moment or four. My most exciting company, not most exciting, but mm, I mean, I want to say it's probably I create at this point, man. In terms of most exciting, it's probably I create. The most interesting one to me, believe it or not, is Palace. I'm actually interested in seeing what Palace does now.
So am I.
Hmm. Sorry, guys. JC now has a download button
Well, what?
Yeah,
on their results. The
yeah,
site
I
is
noticed.
changing every day.
Yeah, I
Have you
noticed that
guys seen that?
today. I noticed it today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
free
So right
days
beside
now.
the results, there's a big download button. I guess I know what it is. It's a Jamaican thing. We're still very much coming online, so it seems weird, but the idea of a link within a sentence isn't something that all Jamaicans get. So they don't get that all of these are black and this part of the sentence is blue and underlined. So it's a link. I'm not saying that like as a putting on anybody. I mean, I see this from running my own site and sending out emails and so on.
Yeah.
We don't I get more of a response from putting the word link and turning that into the link, or a button saying click here for link, than I do from just putting a link in a sentence. People don't get that that's a link. And you talk to them like, oh, I never know I'm supposed to click that. So I suspect that the people at JC have gotten a lot of calls about it, which is why I know the results have a download button beside them. I have to praise even small innovation. Big up JC, a company that I currently own for at least 12 more hours, at least until the market open again. So, uh, why Palace is the most interesting company to me is because year to date they're in their 9 months. So they have one more quarter to go, and hold on, they have one more quarter to go, and we are looking at them making in this quarter 229.3 million Jamaican in revenue, but their expenses, direct expenses, just to make that revenue was 235.9. So already those who quick at math know that they're already looking at a gross profit loss, but their actual net profit loss was 49.2 million year, and that's for the January to March period. And they have year to date, they have a loss year to date also, so negative 53 million year to date in 9 months. This is a company that is an old company, it's a structured company, but it is a company that's now looking at a public that is less and less interested in going to the movies. When last you guys go to the movies?
Exactly.
Wow.
I don't count.
You count. You're a human being. When last you go to the movies, Phil?
Boy, last time I can't. There's no movie theater here in Turkey. So last time I went to the movies
Really?
was in December when I was there in Jamaica.
Wow, you see that? And that's just because you're somewhere where there are no movies, right? So it's like, yo, I miss this.
Yep, missed the experience.
Yeah. And why I say that you definitely count is two reasons. One, you represent a older demographic who would have seen when Jamaica was more movie oriented. I mean,
Definitely.
you remember the drive-in theater, right?
Yeah,
Phil? Yeah, I
man.
know you do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
you must, because I remember it,
I
and
remember
yeah,
it.
so I know.
And it was
Yeah,
my first movie at Harborview.
my it wasn't my first movie, but my first movie was Lion King at Island Life
Really?
Center. Wow. Yeah.
You know, somehow I was a super Lion King fan, and and when I look at the time when it came out, I'm very confused.
Or like, how could you be a Lion
There's
King
no
fan,
way,
Glenn?
Before
man.
your time.
Like you don't understand how much I love that movie. Like
I do, sir. I do, sir. It's the first time I've cried in a theater.
Rough.
So yes, I do. And it wasn't me crying. It was the whole theater full of Pitney bawling. So
Yeah.
it came out in 1994, and yeah, exactly. Mufasa, that killed me.
Mufasa.
Like for
oh
years, and I kept watching.
wow,
I got the cassette, and we watched that. We also rinsed Lion King. Me and my brother,
yeah.
and no, I'm looking at. I was 1 year old.
Don't make
Mm.
sense, right?
Damn.
You know the
So,
name of the
so
nice dog,
I have
Randy?
a one. I have a 1 year. I have a 1 year. I have a 1 year old memory. I remember from when I was 1 years old.
That that
1 year
is that
old.
is fire. That is great. That is actually great. Wow. I can't. Wow. I don't even have any 1 year old memory, so that's wicked.
I
Sorry, Shanice, you're
definitely
saying
do.
something just now.
Oh
No,
yeah,
I was
my
asking if
dog.
you know the name of the nice dog.
Simba.
Simba.
Simba. Simba. Yeah.
Ah. Oh wow. It comes full circle. It's a circle of life.
Circle of life.
Uh,
Winning,
That's
winning.
this that joke, guys.
What? But yeah, Lion King, Lion King. What I'm referencing all of this is that Phil, you'd have seen Jamaica change so much in
Yeah.
terms of how we look at the movies, and I think again we're looking at a major change now because I also can't tell the last I went to the movies, and I love the movies, right? But I can't tell the last I went to the movies, and it has to change in terms of what it is as an experience and how
Mm.
why it's interesting to me is that because they're a listed company, their public results almost kind of force them to change. But Phil, I'm coming back to your point again because, as you said, there is no Lion King. There is no Lion King. Damn, there is no movie theater in Turks,
Mm-hmm.
right? And while this company, I'm not doing a deep analysis, but while this company being Palace Amusement has results that show them bleeding heavily, it also has results that show them being able to not results. They have money. If you look at the
Yeah.
what I'm concentrating on here is their retained earnings.
Right. The balance sheet.
Yeah, their balance sheet. And why I care about their retained earnings in this case is that they have the history and the money to borrow against that,
Mm-hmm.
and they can expand. We know they spoke a couple of months ago, I think, about expanding to the Trinidadian market.
Yeah.
which is funny because the Trinidadian market has a company there that spoke about expanding into Jamaica,
Jamaica, yeah,
right?
move it down.
But it,
Yeah, move it down there.
yeah, boy.
You're saying something, right?
Move it on as your point on experiences, being a theater about experiences. To be
Hmm.
honest, from what I've seen, Move It On has got them beat.
Has gotten them beat in terms of
Yeah.
experience. Last time when I was in Trinidad, I stayed right by Movie Town, the hotel near Movie Town, but I never went to it. But I don't know if, well, you know what? Yeah, I mean, you've been to the theaters in foreign. The nicest theater is the one that you can go in and sit down or lay back and press a button and they come and they bring drinks for you or they bring food or whatever, you know. The experience has to change, but also that means you have to charge more.
Mhm.
I
Hmm.
don't know if Jamaica is at the point quite yet for that premium experience, but it's up for Palace is at the forefront where they're the ones who have to determine that, right?
Yeah.
And that I would have bet on that being able to be done in Jamaica before Corona. No, I don't know quite as much. However, as you said, Phil, there's no movie theater in Turks.
Right.
So if there's no movie theater in Turks and we're looking on Palace Amusement, which has retained earnings of, as at the 31st of March, a retained earnings of 254.8 million Jamaican dollars. These guys can maybe go take $100 million loan. I'm saying it so easily, but take $100 million loan and go on or float a bond and go and put a theater in Turks. What's the population of Turks, Phil?
35,000, is it? Yeah.
Ooh, Wi-Fi
Small.
country. Yeah, but that's good. You only need one theater. It can be even be a cheap enough theater, but I'm pretty sure if there's no movie theater there, people will go to the
Yeah,
movies.
definitely.
And this is the kind of thing that drives
Movies.
companies to expand, right? Because your core market has shifted so much. Because I'll tell you straight up, I like the movies, I like the experience, but I really also like being in my yard. All right. I don't have to be around nobody. And I don't know if Palace can beat Netflix. I don't think they can. And Netflix can
The
mean
thing.
huge losses.
All right. So why I think the record again? My chime in on movie theaters versus Netflix. You can see where Netflix is pushing right now for this to change, but we need
Hmm.
not breaking news, but breaking movies on Netflix for Netflix to for Netflix to completely viable. We need thing there. So Netflix as a completely viable as a replacement. We don't have people because the movie industry cares
Hmm.
so much about their box office numbers and releasing into box offices. We have the issue of nobody is really coming to Netflix. So like you don't have a thing they're coming to Netflix, a publisher or whatever coming to Netflix and say, hey, you're going to be a touch point for the first viewing of a movie. Well, I think me and Shani talked about this already. But yeah, we're not going to be the first. You're not going to be the first point where people find out, people watch this, people view this movie. If Netflix gets that down, then boy, trust me.
Hmm.
So they started doing it now because they have A-list actors on some of the thing there on some of their home productions. So you find like
Mhm.
Adam Sandler.
Oh God.
Shanice knows the names of movie
What
people.
is
I
this?
do not.
Sandra Bullock
And
Yeah, but
movies.
they're
Sandra Bullock.
actually winning Oscars for their movies.
Exactly. So if
yeah.
you find so if they build their rep up to the point where Netflix is a premium type of place or a place where people say, all right, I'll start counting Netflix in my release numbers.
Hmm.
Then why I
It's
can't
done.
because if you think about it, like Netflix, all they need to do is have a feature where boy, I want to watch this brand new movie. I want to watch this movie, right?
Hmm.
It just come out. Say Star Wars, the new Star Wars come out, and I want to watch it. Then I have a Netflix subscription. Now pay a little additional fee, which to be honest, like, think of Netflix's margin. Netflix to me that's baking the money they can make because I have more reason to have a Netflix subscription if I can watch new movies there as long as everything
Hmm.
else on their list. And if I pay say $2 for a Netflix subscription or $8 a month, and every time I want to view a new movie, because for Netflix to convert a movie into their platform, the cost for that it already knows that that's not too much. If they charge $2 per viewing for that movie on the platform versus how much a theater costs, I have to go and for buy food, I have to pay for the whole experience versus Netflix. I'll open my screen, take my dinner, and I
Hmm.
can watch Star Wars for the first time in front of my thing there. In front of
front of me, yeah,
On
yeah.
your
If I like talk, we
Yeah.
can talk. If I like it silent,
we
we can
can
keep it
pause it.
silent.
You
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
rewind and pause.
Exactly. If
yeah,
Netflix
yeah,
gets
yeah.
that, then boy, it's over for these guys. But
But you know that they have that. You just never considered it. Netflix does it all the time. They have those one. They have a time when they always put out one specific movie that everybody watches. They did it with Will Smith and that was it Bright? Was that the name of the
But
movie?
yeah, I just mentioned that. So I was saying they have the A-list actors on
Yeah,
their home
yeah.
releases, so that's fine. But it's not
Bird
the
Box.
it's current exactly. So Bird Box, thing the Adam Sandler's movie. What you call it again?
Marriage Story.
So those
Uncut
type of movies,
Gems.
exactly. Those type of movies where you have
Yeah,
the
Uncut
heavy
Gems.
the
actors on there,
Italian.
then that's fine. But Netflix
Mhm.
actually pays for the production of these movies or have some level of input in this movie being made. If they can
Yes,
get
how many
another
of them?
studio,
Yes.
if you can get another studio to say, boy, I want to bust my movie on Netflix the same time bust in the theaters.
Oh no, they do. What I think you're thinking of is, and this is me knowing just how the movie business work. You're thinking of like the blockbusters. So, for example,
Yes, exactly.
yeah, Avengers. Let's say if Avengers was
Think of every single movie that come out and go into a theater
mhm.
going on Netflix also.
Hmm.
Yeah, but those companies are directly opposed to
Oh,
Netflix, you know.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
That's
consider
think
them. They consider them
of Disney making
competition.
its own thing. So that
Yeah.
type of thing. So if Netflix can get, as I say, if Netflix can get that, then boy, it rough for the movie, it rough for a theater.
It's
But
over.
I think they will. Yeah, I think they will. But think about this: Netflix is now causing a situation where a lot of these companies are for the very first theater companies for the first time are facing losses. Well, I have faced many years of losses in America.
uh-huh.
Palace just really lick up them big loss. They haven't really had a loss in a good little while. So Palace is just doing their big loss now, and they cannot fight Netflix. Netflix debt is I think bigger than Jamaica's budget. Could be wrong, but I think Netflix's budget debt is bigger than Jamaica's budget, and you can't fight that. And I think Palace knows it. But when you know that, when home gets hard, you go somewhere else and start spreading your wings, right?
Mhm.
So who knows? Maybe we can fling a one warehouse theater in Turks, another one in just so those small islands and look at that. And I would rather personally, I would rather to see that than Trinidad, where you're going to go and try and fight
Fight somebody.
established thing. Yeah, don't go
Right.
fight. Go somewhere else where you
And
don't have it. Yeah, McPhil can go out again.
for real. And going to Trinidad
But
is
yeah,
fighting the same Netflix thing as well. I mean,
yes, exactly.
you're fighting another movie company as well as another movie theater company as well as
Well,
Netflix.
gonna go struggle together. No, brother.
No, no.
Exactly. You can change things up. So I'm interested in them, and why I'm interested in them is not because they're good. They don't have good results, and it's hard to get the shares. Also, it's really hard to get the shares, but it is an opportunity to see how an established company adapts itself or dies. But I don't think they'll die. I think they'll adapt. It's really hard to kill a listed company.
Yeah, and they've been at this for a long time. They've been
A
through
long, long time.
Hmm.
various downturns,
Yep.
hurricanes, stuff like that. Coronavirus is different, and it's coming at a time when, as you said, there is Netflix and streaming and stuff like that. So it's a different
Boy,
challenge.
if you ask me, at Netflix and Netflix and Trump team up and invent coronavirus. Because everybody at home, everybody watch everything for Netflix.
Netflix
It
party.
just yeah,
There you go.
yes, which
That
is
that
a
makes
really
more
cool one.
sense than the 5G tower thing. I think.
You know this 5G theory, you know.
Just cool, just cool.
Oh my
The
lord! But
one
anyway, I've been doing
about
this.
Netflix and Trump. Yeah, they totally did it.
Yeah, yeah. What do you mean? Netflix and China.
Ah,
Huh.
yeah, yeah.
Oh boy. Oh, you know what? Netflix and Jeff Bezos.
oh
Ah,
gosh,
Oh
He
yes,
went
Yeah,
there.
true,
He went
yeah,
there.
true.
let's see some
yeah.
stuff.
There
our
we go.
first trillionaire.
There we go. Anyway, I've been yapping a whole lot, so I'm going to try and wrap it now. Dana, you can tell us for your company, then we can wrap this one up, guys. Can
My
we be going
company
on?
boring. Let's talk about it enough. Barita.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I didn't want to actually say it. I wanted to find. I was
Oh
looking for
Lord.
somebody else to say nice, and to start about it a little more. But we talk about Barita enough.
Yeah. Well, give the people. Remember, there's always somebody listening for the first time this episode. So
All
give the
right,
people.
Barita doing them thing. They're doing them thing, and that's all, folks. yeah, yeah, man. All right, so
Barita managed to find some profit in a time when
some got
everybody was
make it
expecting
so
it to.
like the thing is, if you look
Crazy
at thing
profit.
there, if you look at the amount of money they're making despite what's happening right now, people are in dire straits. It rough on some people. Look at other brokers.
Hmm.
MIL.
I didn't want to say that in
MIL.
for those
Yeah,
guys.
you keep
Oh,
this.
some
But you're right across the
Across
board.
the board, yeah.
NCB.
Yeah, man. So they're getting hit hard. But
Hard.
Barita,
Hmm.
you see the net interest income gone up more than two times. Fees, income, commission barely down. So okay, I said barely in randy terms, like 181 million compared to 255 million last year.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah.
Foreign exchange trading up, not by much though. But if you look at the gains on investment activities, brother.
Hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
in a time where every
Yeah.
single investment get a beating, Barita
Yeah. These guys
somehow
are finding it.
make more, almost
Yeah.
double. Because it's almost 600 million to a 350 million last year. Like, come on, that's crazy to me.
Amazing.
Dividend
That is
income
crazy.
down, sure, but if you look at the net operating revenue, then it's 1.1 billion compared to 700 million last year, 770 million last year. The
Wow.
expenses, while they went up, couldn't beat out that rise in profit, that rise in revenue. So the expenses gone from 261 to 467 million. And then the profit does look nice at 509 million compared to 408 million. So I made 100 million more clear, straight on the thing there. And yeah, so they had an increase in amount of shares they had this period versus last period, and the
Hmm.
EPS is still more than thing there
Yeah.
Than previously.
in the previously. So
Yeah.
the EPS is 14% more than last time
Wow.
on
Wow.
like share increase, and that's
Despite
crazy to
more
me.
shares.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me play devil's advocate though,
Mm-hmm.
because 2.5 million Barita shares were sold by two directors on May 8th.
Mm-hmm. May 8th, May
How
8th,
you
May
feel
8th.
about that? May 8th is like last week or week before last.
All right.
That don't make you kind of worried and not shaking any at all because of that?
Who bought?
Uh,
Ah, always the
there we
question.
go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Well, it's a major question. It's a
Yep,
major
yep,
question,
yep.
but still,
I say, all right.
because
So
for these guys to sell. Yeah, go ahead, Danai.
if you look at the thing there, the shareholdings of the directors, so it's a how much sold?
2.5 million.
2.5 million. If I shareholding of the directors, then
That means that that's
proper
exactly what
document.
I was doing. Right, not many people can push that kind of volume
Yep.
there. Yeah, and it says two directors. Wow. Sorry, I was doing the same checks that I think Dana is doing now. I
Mm-hmm.
tried to do them before he was done.
So
So I could,
I'm
so I
looking at
could.
directors and yeah. So
Looking at the same thing.
one. Well, if it's two directors, then a couple of them could have combined, or some man sells some thing and then himself all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's kind of hard
yeah.
to
These
go
guys are
percent.
smart, These guys are smart. They know how to. They understand the market
Yeah, which is very
well,
interesting
and
to
I
me.
like that. Yeah,
I don't find that
yeah.
very
So
often. You said the people we think understand the market. We call them name enough.
yes, yes. This is smart. So to make it the two directors, why it's impressive is that to make it the two directors, then you obfuscate who it is that is actually moving a heavy amount, right? And it could mean that one director completely exited and another
Another one
one
bought.
just
Okay.
sold 500.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it didn't show us any of them buying though.
Yeah,
It
there's
just said they
nothing
sold
told
on
them to
that date.
there's nothing about
Yeah,
who bought, but that would be interesting to me to see who bought into this. Oh yeah,
and it's not internal. It's not internal because it would be a related party
yeah.
then.
So let's see who bought it.
Yeah, so that's
It's quite a
very, very
heavy amount. So
interesting.
I don't know.
Hmm. Is Rita Humphreys Lewin still a director?
Yes,
Yes,
she
she
is.
is.
She is,
And
yeah.
she was speculation, which I think has since been proven that she sold some shares.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hold on.
Well, that wasn't speculation, was it?
It was
Because the way it was worded, it could have only been
some
her.
directors and only some directors own that amount. So it's speculation, but
Exactly.
come on.
Yeah. She was the only
Yeah.
one. at the time
Yeah, that it could have been.
because it's an A
But
director.
2.5 million shares outside of her is a
Yeah,
major,
we're not sure about that.
major thing. Yeah.
But
So the ball is up in the air then.
mhm. but I'm not arguing with the good results. As I say, we might see better for them with the opening of the economy that we're pushing right now. We're having things changing on us, so I think Barita is in a good place to make more money. And I think, as I keep saying, it, Barita not done. Barita, it's obvious to me that they have some plans in play based on something. They're based on news releases we've seen from them. It's
Hmm.
specifically revolving around what Cornerstone wants to be or where it wants
Yes.
to go. Cornerstone is advertising now. As I drive in on the thing there on the highway and I see driving to the highway, I see a Cornerstone advertisement. Driving on the highway, I see this big Cornerstone advertisement. What service does Cornerstone provide exactly?
Um, you guys answer. I don't want to be the one to say it. One of you guys answer. Shay, Shanice, no. Phil,
I do not know.
Cornerstone,
I guess. Okay, so they're a banking group. They're
Yeah.
a holding company, but they're a banking group. They're a financial group. In fact, they are a financial holding company,
right?
Mm-hmm.
as far as I know. And they actually hold the single merchant bank
Yep.
license
The
in
one on the
Jamaica.
left. Last
So
man
yes,
standing.
last but exactly, and they are open. Well, they were open maybe 2 or 3 years ago. What is that? 2 years ago, I think, because when they bought in, yeah. About what is that they wanted and what is that they're planning to do. Oh, well, open to a degree, and the rest
Yes.
is for us to
Of
speculate.
speculation. To me,
Yeah.
you come in, you buy a barista, you buy a merchant bank. There is a video on one of the sites about MF&G, the merchant bank they do own, that
Hmm.
about merchant MF&G going into personal banking,
Hmm.
retail banking. Sorry, to me, it
Yeah.
just looks
If you
like
put
we
those,
want to be at a certain level, and we're not just looking at Barita as just Barita. Barita is a step in a certain direction. They bought
exactly.
MF&G first, right? But you see, the heavy hitting moves are with Barita. You can see where they're dragging money towards them through Barita.
Hmm.
So yeah,
And from Barita.
from Barita
Oh,
towards them
towards
coming
them
from
being in Cornerstone
Cornerstone.
from.
Yeah, you can see where Barita. Look on those steps Barita has taken from where it was. So when Barita was owned by its previous owners, bought out by Cornerstone, look on the changes in then from then to now and the ways they brought the money. Just genius ways of actually making money.
Hmm.
Yep.
Dividends paid out, the kind of dividends paid out on. Oh, check the prices that the price they bought Barita at, and the total dividends paid to them since.
Oh yeah,
And then
yeah.
the amount of and the value in their share prices. Because to me, I think they do care about the share price because look on the way they do the we call it again the rights issue. So when they were
Right
the way they were
issues. Yeah.
buying more Barita and getting and they're capitalizing on a spread in the rights issue price first because Barita wasn't falling really. They're in
Exactly.
a net gain still on Barita. Barita falling from 100 down to this to 50 something, and they're still in a net gain. Come
For
on,
something they bought for like
yeah,
nine or
I
ten
know.
dollars.
No,
Yeah.
And
no.
then we bought shares at $30. We bought shares at $45 during the rise
Yep.
issues, and I'm still in a net gain.
Yeah.
Why?
In
Trust me.
some
To
yeah,
me,
in some respects they're beating. In some respects they're beating Leachin.
mm, yes.
Yeah. Who is also a Barita shareholder, or at least was, I believe.
Mm.
You said so a video ago, a few videos ago I saw from them. But yeah,
Yeah, to me, if I look at that, Barita not done. Cornerstone, and more importantly for me, Cornerstone not done. We get some moves from them I expect, and it might be revolved around Barita. I'm just waiting to see how that will play out. But to me, the way they've it just makes sense for Barita to be somewhere. As I said, the cornerstone of what? Wealth creation in Jamaica. There.
Hmm.
yeah.
We
And
have
if you
to
look at the players behind it,
Mhm.
you look at the players behind it, you can, and there are even more dots that can be
Yeah.
connected. Yeah. I think that's the most we've ever spoken on Barita in terms of
Thoughts?
our current thoughts on it. So wow, yeah. There you have it, guys. So, Shay, we're going to wrap. So I'm going to allow you to tell us what you have, and then everybody we can wrap up because we've been going almost 3 hours, if not over three
Yeah,
hours now.
time flies when you're having fun, right?
Wow! Imagine something like
You
this
guys
is fun.
understand what it was? Episodes are
But
so long.
yeah, I
Yeah.
actually raised mine because of Barita, what Dan I was talking about. And I remember the other day I was just looking at Barita's stock price and I'm like, how do you put out these numbers and then you're further down? Like, this is crazy.
So, conceptual.
But
You think that's
okay,
crazy?
but it's cool. I guess it gives me time, so that's how I'm looking at it. It gives me time to get more or to get some stuff that I don't have. So that's good. So I guess that's how I'm choosing to look at it. So there we go,
Yeah, that is
framing
one.
it.
Yeah, that is one thing. I remember never be too in love with any stock to drop it immediately.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
unless you have
important,
some
right?
heavy position. Yeah, man. Yeah, as much as I
Unless you
like
have
them, as much as I
something
want them.
better, something better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or your own value and your own vision is longer than what the current situation is, right?
Right.
What you get from it
Yeah,
might be trust might
It's,
be
it,
different from what we're looking at.
exactly. Exactly that. Yeah, somebody else might see the same exact thing and think, absolutely not. This is crazy. I could not touch it. And somebody else might think, well, Ryan, big up five Soleil. Ryan has said before that, is one thing that we publicly differ on, which
Okay. Yeah.
is how we view Barita.
Yeah.
Yeah. And time is going to be the one that sees whether who gets this bit right. Um, the market's exciting. So yeah, I know. Shay, were you into numbers before you started? Like, you said you're doing psych.
Not at
Before that,
all
were
into
you?
numbers. I am a psychologist. And before I came into this program, this graduate program, I was just in entertainment. So nothing to do with nothing to do with numbers, nothing to do with investing and stocks and all that. I did a personal finance class once in undergrad, and they basically
Mhm.
just gave us the definition of stocks and not much else. So it was basically, oh, these are stocks. They're stocks, but these are the things you should be focusing on. So that was the vibe I got from that
I'm gonna
class.
them style
That's basically
that.
what I had in terms of what stocks do and how it works, the stock market works, and I'm glad that that's shifting now. So more people are getting to know more about stock market and stocks and how it all works, and I'm one of those people. So
So sometimes I think say the industry man and they go that same class.
listen,
Hmm.
then I, then I don't start me up.
I know, Shanice, I know.
yeah, so there's that, man. So I wasn't into it, but I'm glad that I'm learning now. I've learned so much from
Boy,
from just listening and from, of all places, Twitter. So there's that.
right?
Mm,
But yeah, it's I'm very grateful for everything that I've learned and for everyone who continues to share, and the podcast and grower just sealed the deal. So yeah, it's been good
Ah,
for me.
yes, you did do a grow. You did do a grow.
No, shit. You know what I heard the saying? You don't need to thank him. That's what the money is for.
That's
I
actually
did not
true.
hear that before, but yeah, that sounds great to me. Because
Yeah.
Randy is always the one to say, "Yo, money talks," right? So profits, it's all in profits. So
Oh,
here we go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So grower really does pay for itself and then some.
I get
I'm
free
gonna
ads.
say.
truly.
Yes, say. Nobody now believes me never ever said this.
You know what is remember? You have
I
this
was That was not a
disclaimer. You have a
paid
disclaimer.
compliment, people. So I received no gifts in return. But what I can say is that earning season brought me from a place of panicking about my finances, wondering how on earth am I going to pull off all these things that I want to pull off and get all these things that I want to get to. Really just being relaxed and knowing that, yo, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm chilling.
Enjoy it.
And that's a big deal. That's a
Yeah, man.
humongous
That,
deal.
As long as the money keep turning for you, as long as you understand more. And well, the reason I said it at first is that I didn't think that somebody who don't like numbers or not into numbers or investing would think sitting on a call for 3 hours talking about stocks could be exciting, but here you are, right? And it's a nerdy sort of excitement, but my God, it's good. And not really nerdy. It not nerdy when
And then they look at my bank account. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
there we go.
that's where it kicks
There we
in.
When they
go.
don't read, trust me, it's funny. They don't call it a nerd for stocks.
They don't.
True. True. That is true.
You know,
But be a nerd for
Mm.
stocks here, people.
I have a group of friends that, well, before COVID time, every Thursday we'd play games. Well, we play Kaluki. We have a
Oh,
Kaluki
Shani,
night.
that's how it is.
You know what, that night? I've tried with you guys. But anyways, so my games night group, we started out, we play Kaluki every Thursday.
Mhm.
Eventually, I start telling them about stocks. So I'm getting more and them, more and them into stocks until games night on Thursdays turn into us discussing companies while we're
There you
playing.
go.
So every
There you
Oh
go.
yeah,
Thursday,
stay.
we'll choose like a couple companies that we're going to discuss, and we come and everybody say what they find about the company and say how we're going to invest.
So again, Shanice, that's how we live.
I've told you about this several times.
Uh-huh.
Bro.
Wow, big up the top striker.
My second friend group, you know.
And our second,
Um,
yeah.
didn't you publicly denounce our brunch? I'm pretty sure I was listening
Denounce.
to an episode and you're
Oh
saying
wow, that was your brunch.
Is
that was our
Wow.
brunch.
denounce, denounce,
That was our
Shanice,
That's
brunch.
a strong
denounce.
word, and I think based on what was said, I have to support her. You know, because yo, the
Thank
man
you,
won out the
Shay.
brunch. I
Man, burn
swear.
out the
But not
brunch.
But Shanice telling that
rough.
you never showed up for the brunch either. So
Is that so?
Zoom, Zoom brunch. They
man
have
I
a
cook,
Zoom brunch. Right?
man cook, and I post picture and it's like, oh, where's the rest of you guys?
Yeah, literally one guy showed up to the
Nah,
brunch.
no. That's not a brunch, that's just lunch.
Exactly.
It's just my lord.
Boss.
It's like,
His lunch.
oh my God. I should say big up to the college students who are DMing me their homework. Guys, I know it's your homework. I'm not going to do it.
Oh,
I'm
yo, I get
sorry.
homework requests, bro. Uh,
All the
brother say, yo,
time. Vertical analysis?
brother say, yo, in them, so, brother, since you doing something, but you mean, there's some course you also look at JSC. This explains talks about the fees. I don't know which course that is, but I keep
Yeah,
getting
it's
it.
the same assignment I get. It's a financial management
Yeah, and I
course.
keep getting it. And in my head, I'm like, yo, if everybody send me them course, everybody girlfriend send them course, then I can look on it. Um, I kind of feel like it's obvious that it's the same course.
Yeah.
Boy, man.
Oh my God. Well, you know what?
Make one
I'll tell you.
group up. I make one man tell me the course now. That makes sense.
I'll tell you this. I've done a lot of work for other people. I've done a lot of homework for other people, and I used to charge them very well, and they've all paid handsomely. So if you guys you guys want me to look at your work, I've done MBAs for other people. So if you want me to look at your college work, hustle up that dirty money. And even then, I'm not doing it because I do you a disservice. Also, you're just looking at quick A, and you're not thinking about the time. But I'm not going through your financial management course. I want you to do it though, and it's pretty easy stuff. Literally Google and JC
Trust
website,
me.
and you're good.
Trust me. Like, you don't leave me
Yeah.
as much as you think you do.
Yeah.
Right? Sir Phil.
If I can do it.
Wow.
I know. Confidence.
Don't let Phil
Wow.
fool you. Phil knows
At
exactly
all.
what he's doing.
Yes, and he Phil on top of things.
Yo,
He
it's
just
Phil,
doubt himself.
Yo,
Phil is a
Phil,
top
Trying,
man in
his
his
trying.
game.
problem is doubt. More I feel come to me with some things, and I'm like, yo, listen now. If this man just ask himself, if you just trusting himself, he wouldn't have that problem. I'm coming to explain something fully, and then ask you the question, and him just explain. I'm like, yo, what Phil? You have it okay. Like you don't need me to say, oh that cool brother. Like you're fine, sir. Just work on the
That's
confidence.
true.
You're good, brother.
This is
Moreover, a
true.
lot of times we don't know.
Yeah, that,
A lot of times I don't
yeah.
know.
Right. It's the
And then
So,
you
same
answer
process.
yeah,
which is good pressure
yeah,
sometimes, but isn't it?
Definitely.
yeah. Phil, you're well. I wouldn't have asked you to be on an episode if I didn't think you were there. So I had the beginner being Shay, and Shay did it,
And she
and
threw herself
Phil,
up
as
as
far
more
as
real big, you know.
Yeah, man.
right? And Phil know him thing already. Him used to this. So Phil, tell the people what you like and good night, and then I will jump to Shanice, and then we'll wrap and go.
Yeah, man. Well, what I like, you mean,
No,
uh,
just whatever you want to say, because we are
oh, just a
wrapping
wrap
up
up.
now.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah, man.
So yeah, I think going forward, one of the points I did want to make was, I know that I think for a lot of the stocks on the market right now, we are.
Mm-hmm.
It actually ties into that point that was made earlier about the fact that stock market investing is forward looking, and I think we need to bear in mind that for many of the stocks, maybe not everything, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
this fall is a lot of the results that we'll see coming out. Probably more so for August. A lot of the price has been um, factored in. A lot of the fall in earnings has been already
Mm-hmm.
factored in to the price because a lot of these prices have fallen for what is essentially not a good reason, right? There was Trans Jamaica and then um,
Corona.
Corona, anticipation of Corona, as
Yeah,
opposed to
yeah,
the
yeah.
actual effect of Corona.
Look at Grace.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
Yes.
Grace, exactly.
And they make
Look
some
at
nice money.
JMMB.
Ooh.
And JMMB,
Look at
right?
JMMB. Yeah.
Ridiculous. No reason.
No blessings, blessings,
Yeah,
blessings.
true,
Five
true,
blessings.
true.
Go back to blessings.
No complaints. So
Yeah, Phil a fight with the market, Phil want the people. Phil you try warn them like, guys,
it's
don't
true.
drop the price when you see the bad results come.
You
Phil,
know, my point to you was going to be if bad results come, no, and like it's like so the coming results in August drop, and it's bad results that have already been priced in. Trust me, I might just see the fall anyway,
Right.
and I'm
yes,
not complaining at that. Even if I'm in it,
yes,
then boy, I might fault that. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to say, oh, guess what? You know, I need it to do. And what I need to do now.
Yeah.
Good.
yep. That's literally it, Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can tell people you're right. A lot of in the event that some companies have bad results, a lot of their bad results would have been priced in
Mm-hmm.
already. And NCB can actually come and drop a loss or two because the truth is the man them thing get priced in already.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
But that's not how the market works. The market is the market.
Exactly.
So even after them price it in, people are still come back and see it and go, what?
And sell
Loss?
out.
Me a sell.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. Selling, selling, selling.
Yeah, but Phil, that's how multimillionaires are made.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Other people act without thinking, and you think and then act.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
know, you
don't
know,
worry
you know the
about.
saying. Usually, be fearful.
Be fearful.
This week's Buffett. Go ahead, Danai.
Be
Yes,
fearful when
sir.
others are what? Are eager or something like that. And fear. And
Be greedy
Greedy,
when
not
others
greedy.
are.
Yeah,
yes, be
yeah,
greedy
greedy.
when
Yeah.
Yeah,
others
Greedy
are
when
man.
others are fearful.
Fearful when others are greedy.
And
Yeah,
then the
right.
man flip it on them and just the man flip it on them and break him own rules. The man exit the airlines,
Yes.
exit
After
exit
saying
our
for all
Goldman
about
Sachs.
Nah, it's the thing is, you know, remember the last Buffett's last rule: break your own rules. But we often
yes,
forget that
Yes.
one. But
Yeah, man. And don't listen to guys like me.
that's right.
So it go. Anyway, guys, unlike Buffett, do listen to guys like us. I feel like I'm leaving out somebody. Top striker, have I had you speak
You
already?
want to start about a Kaluki game without me?
That was
That
it.
is correct. I just want to burn him again. Then I'll leave you to wrap the show since I talk so much. I'll leave it. I'm Randy
I
at
spoke
RT
a lot
Row.
before, but all right, cool.
you're Randy. Where?
You did. I'm Randy at RT Row on pretty much every platform, and we will be back next week. We know we'll never go through everything, guys. All right, as you can see, 3 hours. I will never go through everything. We'll be back next week with maybe some of these people, or maybe a brand new set or a nice mix, hopefully. And we will be covering more companies. So,
Yep.
I am Randy Rowe at RTO, and I'll hand over to
And
Danny.
I'm Dana H. Dana, and this has been earnings season, guys. Thanks for listening. Big up.
That was probably 45 minutes of having it on. I am disoriented. I'm a little mad, if you can't tell that already. Like I'm frustrated, but I don't feel good physically. I feel dizzy. My hands are kind of tingly. My heart is beating fast. So some of it's an emotional reaction, but some of it's a physical reaction. Like I can tell you right now, I wasn't getting enough.